Hello, the people. Hi. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Wednesday stream. All right, let me get Twitch up in here. Twitch is not live yet. Alrighty. Let's get Twitch up in here. Pop out the chats. The usual. Hi, YouTube. How's it going? Hello. Listen, you guys, we're doing some like kind of React content because I've been busy. So thankfully, I'm super excited though, because for the next little bit when I'm going to be offline, as in like no streams until after open sauce. And during that time, I'm going to get to do so much coding and I'm so excited. Lately, it's been kind of insane. I feel like I've been playing so much catch up with the content stuff. Because basically what happened is in May, I let myself get a little too carried away with like wanting to just code. And then that meant that I kind of struggle on camera if I'm coding a lot because it's harder for me to like articulate what I'm trying to say. Like most of the time I get like too in the problem and then I just like I'm in the trenches and I can't like speak at a higher level of abstraction where it would make sense to anyone who's not actively working on the same project as I am. So I did that in May, and then I was testing the limits a little bit of like how much I can do myself. I've decided, you guys, you saw my tweet probably if you follow me on Twitter. Actually I posted on Mastodon as well, but basically talking about how like there's so many solo devs out there and why aren't they kind of pairing up at all? Like I realized in the last like month or so, the limits of my own ability as a single person. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much I can do. And so I'm delegating. That's my goal. I'm on it. Okay, I'm reaching out. We're doing stuff, and then that means that you guys will have more consistent content because sometimes I just be burning the candle at both ends. And that's part of why it's been such a delay on getting more content out. It has just been like me trying to come up with like good enough quality content for you guys at the cadence that I want to. But yeah, you hiring? I got some word of mouth referrals that I'm gonna check out. I do think it'd be very fun though. I think for the I told you guys, maybe you know what, maybe a girl does a little software startup at one point. In that case, I would love to get other people involved. I don't know how I would vet it. Like I have such limited resources right now because it's like I have so many things going on concurrently that I'm trying to, I'd have to figure out people that would like be able to filter out candidates for me. So we'd have to figure that out. But yeah, I'll keep y'all updated. Because I feel like I have some good software ideas. You know what I'd probably do is I've got some friends that I've worked with before that I'd probably get them to take a look at what other people are into if they're interested in being involved in any way. I know some goated devs. That would be fun. Horror story today, that's something interesting. Let me bring my coffee. Yeah, so today's gonna be fun. We're gonna start off with going through, there's some tweets and some posts on Mastodon that I thought were kind of interesting to just talk about. We're gonna talk about the Google Workspace CLI, some of the drama around that. We're going to talk about Linus Torvalds' thoughts on AI. We're going to talk about PewDiePie and his thoughts breaking free from the algorithm. We're going to talk about Donald Knuth, the founding father of computer science, basically, and how he hasn't even used email. He quit email in 1990, okay? I want to know, this man's doing deep work, okay? He's been doing deep work. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to look at software ownership. I saw an interesting blog post about that on Mastodon. There's another couple blog posts that I saw that were interesting. One that's titled Building the Future. And let me give you like a quick little excerpt of what this article was. Hold on. Let me try and find, there was like a part where it showed a little recap of it. Look. Okay. This is the description for that one. It's called Building the Future. It says, watching the tech hype train while working in the industry has always felt a bit surreal. There's this nascent feeling that what I'm working on, while it pays my bills, either won't amount to much or is potentially a net negative. I'll admit that I'm predisposed to cynicism and will freely cast off jokes at the expense of what I observe. It's easy to do. I'm like, that's honestly though, I feel like I've heard that so much from devs. Like, this is such a common thing that people experience, is like they spend so much time working on a product that just either like never launches or, you know, like gets scrapped, whatever. Anyway, I'm curious to just, it sounds like an interesting article about just like the current state of affairs in tech. And what it's been like, what it's like trying to build software for the future and when that future keeps changing. So I thought that seemed really interesting. And then data ownership. Okay, I've got a blog post on data ownership, and this person I've got a couple, did I link this one? Yeah. I've got a couple of, there's a couple people that I follow that talk about like self-hosting everything and having data ownership. So we're going to touch on a couple of like articles on that. And then we'll get into, I'm going to react to some different tech bro horror stories. Meaning there's a couple of threads that people have created called "What's Your Worst Date Experience with a Tech Bro?" And we'll jump into that as well. Yeah, that is kind of the plan for today. So if any of those sound interesting to you, that's what we're gonna get into. But we'll chat a little bit first. Coda Sean says, quit email. How does anyone do that? I wish I could. No, honestly, I'm like, huh? What do you mean? Honestly, Donald Knuth is like, if you want to know my takes, read my books. Like, he's like, don't talk to me. He's legit. He's like, don't talk to me. Are you going to shill Tailscale again for self-hosting? Why would I not? Yeah. Hello? I don't understand why people get so, I don't know, like defensive with ads. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I'm working with companies that have genuinely good products. I'm sharing content about that. I'm obviously getting paid to work with them, right? Like it's a mutually beneficial arrangement here. But it's like, are you mad about the product? Are you mad about the, cause you don't gotta do nothing. You don't have to listen to me. I can say what tools I think are cool and just spew that into the ether, and y'all decide whatever you want to pick up out of that, you know? It don't matter. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you like. And I support that. I think everyone should be self-hosting. People are scarred from being deceived. But like, deceived by what? Like, what specifically? True. Actually, some people do be selling like crypto and stuff like that, and it goes sideways. They're too intrusive. I have not heard that. I can look into that. Well, with what time, girl? Come on. So interesting. I just don't understand. Also, I gotta call y'all out. It's okay. You're allowed to. You know what? You're allowed to watch however you want. Actually, I'm not gonna say it yet. I gotta wait. I changed my mind. Am I in New York? No, I'm Canadian. Okay, Alchemist says there's sort of a tough to describe aspect about ads in general. For example, at some point in my life, I decided I can never do the TV with ad breaks, which characterized media in childhood. Ad breaks break the flow. Partial theory, the repetitiveness of certain ads is viscerally grating and induces a sense of dread. So this is part of why when I'm working with companies, I've been trying to figure out like what ads can I do that are like that still add value for like for me, obviously, because I need to make money doing content. And a lot of the technical audience on YouTube uses ad blockers that like decimates the ad revenue for like content creators, like crazy. I didn't really pay attention to it that much, but then I like spoke to other people in the niche where they're like talking about more technical content, you know, versus I think because they say that tech has some of the highest RPM, right? They say that about tech, but I think that's more so for like tech when it falls into maybe like a broader audience. Because I think probably if you're doing like gear unboxing or gear review or something like that, it's a little bit different. But yeah, the tech, if you're in like any kind of niche that is mildly technical, it's like crazy low. It is like I would say it probably falls into some of the lowest RPM that I've seen online, which is insane. But I think that's just, again, it's because it's funny because it's like, it's a demo that a lot of advertisers want to reach, but then like the demo is like, I don't want to hear it. But then it's like, that's part of why I'm like, I think it's fine for like creators need to be able to like find these partnerships and stuff. But this is also like, I very much understand the frustration that can come from like mid-roll ads and stuff like that. That's part of why I've tried doing some like ad integrations in like long form YouTube videos, but it's kind of one of those things where I personally think that it interrupts the viewing experience, which I don't like as a viewer, you know? So I try not to do that. So I think that one of the, like, you guys can tell me what you think, because obviously like I'm all ears for how you guys feel is like the best kind of partnership. Like I think that I really like having the persistent like branding on stream and stuff like that. I feel like that has been it's a really like passive, not intrusive way to like do sponsored content. I also think that like shorts are fine. I regret bringing it up now. You're welcome. How much revenue is just having YouTube? YouTube Premium is good. YouTube Premium still brings in great ad revenue. Like that doesn't penalize creators at all. Yeah. So I think that it's just, yeah, I think it's just a matter of like, you're like, unless you are actively paying for a service, like ads are the best way to otherwise monetize, you know? I think it's kind of just the nature of it. But yeah, and if you guys also, if you're not interested in like talking about this stuff at all, like I don't really need to bring it up, but it's kind of one of those things. Like I like to be transparent with you guys whenever I can, because I feel like some of you also are interested in content or are interested in like figuring out how to monetize things and thinking outside of the box a little bit. My dog, I'm cooking my dog's food right now. That's what that beeper is. Hold on. Sorry. It's evil. Is it gonna stop? Okay. Because another thing, like some open source projects also have started putting ad placements on their readmes and stuff like that, which I think is great. Donations work well in closed communities too. I think donations are obviously a great way to like support any cause, but I think that I like that there is an option to be able to like watch for free, and I guess it comes at the cost of like advertisements, you know? Hi, Jojo. But yeah. Person says, hello, I only recently discovered your content. I like that it's about learning, especially when it can be so easy to outsource your thinking to AI. Yeah. I think it's like, how do I explain it? It's like how like TV, you know, okay, I don't know if this is going to be the best analogy. I'm saying that up front. Okay. Do with this what you will. Okay. But like, I feel like it's like just because TV became so popular, it didn't devalue books, you know? I feel like there's always, I don't think that outsourcing your intellect is a great spot to be. Not a great spot to be. Sorry for using Brave. Yeah, honestly, banned. Reclaimer, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. ET, thank you for the Prime. Reddish, thank you for the Prime. Ramp, thank you for the Prime. I appreciate it. Also, Red Hot. Wait, did I thank you for the raid? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Whoa. Okay, we're talking still about the advertising space a little bit. Impossibly Wyatt says, I think the advertising space has always been broken. We use the TV ad break as a baseline, and that was already so bad. People knee jerk against all ads now. It's true. It honestly is crazy that they used to have, like a quarter of your viewing experience was ads. The only time an ad has value is if the person wants to know about the product, but we focus our metrics on forcing people to watch rather than sales. Yes, I agree. But again, I think that's part of where it's really helpful to like, when possible, just find things that just match up really well. You know, like even I had like a couple Tailscale shorts that I've posted in the last couple weeks. And like, even those, I'm like, okay, the goal for these, I'm like, I want to educate about what the thing is, not just like talk like in a way that actually, that people can resonate with like the problem that is being solved, you know, not just like, oh, let me talk at you forever. Culver says it makes sense, but ad culture is not necessarily just in YouTube. It's been getting insane and seems to be getting crazier. So when people with needs and good intentions, with people with needs and good intentions probably hurts home. I don't know if that's making sense. Yeah, I think there's definitely a huge spectrum on. Yeah, there's a huge spectrum on it, because it's like, I don't know how, like, you know, how like ethical do ads need to be? It's a whole thing. But if you don't like ads, you can always read books. Books is content ownership forever. Yippee. Yippee. Just subscribe to here because I don't like ads on Twitch and I want to support you. I appreciate that. Code with Sean. I appreciate it. Framework, BenQ, and other hardware would match much more. So that's an interesting thing too, is like there are some companies where they've made it part of their like identity or like business model, where they actually, they say that it's interesting. Because again, I think it comes from maybe like the target demo being like out, like generally skeptical of things, but like some companies won't do any paid promotion or like sponsor content because they don't want it to be seen as like not genuine. But then it's like, I think that has so much more to do with the like creator than it does with the fact that it is like a paid advertisement. But I think it's just one of those things where I don't know, it can be hard to win, because I think there's a lot of companies that I think are super cool, but it's like hard to, yeah, like, you know, do they have any budget to do that? Does it potentially like damage the reputation that they've like that they're trying to put like that they're trying to put up, build? I don't know. It's interesting. Many are saying there'll be book burnings in the future. I mean, people are going back to collecting full on like DVD sets in their homes, so I don't think that is gonna happen. Thinking of moving to NixOS and Emacs. Do you have any recommendations on where to start? I have, you guys, I know I haven't been posting very frequently for the last like month, but I have a bunch of videos that I've finally finished editing that are like half an hour long that go deep into a bunch of different topics. I do have one specifically on Nix, and I have another one specifically on Emacs. That's it. I quit. But as you can see, she has not quit. She don't quit. She slays. She don't quit. Not a quitter. No one likes intrusive ads. Yeah, I agree. Yes, that's so true, Oetsy. Oetsy's saying the thing is, brand is a living, breathing thing from a company. It's not a one and done thing. Some companies think about it as a transactional, one-time thing and give it an expectation of this has to make us look like winners. And that's flawed. Yeah, it's like, oh, if I have to pay someone to review my product, that somehow that is a disservice. But in reality, it's just not. It's just like equal, like kind of like equal pay. Like I feel like it's, you know, it's like it covers the production costs on things. Neovim, please? Nah, I ditched Neovim for Emacs. I use evil mode though. It's great. Do you have any tips on how to grow a software product? Ooh, I do. I do. Do I don't know if I want to mention it on stream. Do you have, Beanbag, do you have Discord? You can message me on Discord. Malik, thank you so much for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Don't share your secrets. I know, I'm like, I don't know. Companies pay me, they would pay me good money to tell them how to advertise their product. You have a Discord server? I do, yeah. You can do ! Discord. Oh, hello. I just typed a 1 instead. Only time ads are somewhat relevant are Instagram ads. That is what I've seen. I think Instagram seems like the most widely accepted use of ads, which is interesting to me. Very interesting. All right, guys, are you sick and tired of me talking about content creation? I don't know. I just like yapping with you guys. I like telling you guys the behind the scenes a little bit. I feel like it's interesting. I feel like I'd be curious, you know? Instagram is basically all ads. It's so true. It is actually so true. It's a fun chat, but I would love to see some shell programming in Rust. We're not doing that today. We'll do that. Well, I gotta see if we can do that tomorrow. We can definitely do that again when I'm back, which will be in July. Like we can definitely get back into the programming streams after that. But I think I might have to, I gotta figure out, like I might have to do like one for me, one for you, you know? Like Wednesdays, I might try and have some overlap with like filming stuff with the stream. Back from where? Back from travel. No variety streams? What do you mean variety stream? What kind of variety? You're for the tapping, not the yapping? What? You're saying you're not here for my dazzling personality? That's fucked. And games, etc. I would love to, but I think right now it's hard. I'm very tight for time. I think again, once I have like more help with stuff, I'll be able to have a bit more freedom with my schedule again. But until then, I've been working so freaking much. Just trying to get everything done. Because I've been doing like everything myself. And that means basically it's like I work, like I like work all the time. I work every day. And it's not, I don't recommend. I don't recommend, like, have some freaking work-life balance, you know? I need that next video ASAP. Okay, I gotta double check actually. This reminds me, I don't know if did I edit that one already? Let me check. There's a chance I filmed it, cut it up, and then forgot about it. No, I haven't edited that one. Did I forget about it? I think I did. Okay, perfect. I'm glad that I remember that now. Hold on. I'm gonna import it so that I can't forget about it again. Oh no, I definitely, oh, you know what? I think I must have put it in this one. Emacs Nix, there you go. Dope. You guys, so I have 4 videos ready for you. I'm so excited. Start posting again. I have 4 videos ready for you, and then I've got another like 2 or 3 I can edit. I haven't coded since 2 days. I haven't coded in so long. Do I use any freelancing platforms? No, not anymore, man. I just don't trust that people aren't gonna like charge an insane amount of money and just use AI. How do you organize your days? I'm always very unorganized when I try. I never found a good calendar. Like personally, I'll have like certain tasks that I try to focus on specific days, and that helps. I try to like set timers for most of the tasks that I do, because otherwise I find like things can just spill over, and like next thing you know, you've spent your whole day working on one thing, and it like, you know, a lot of tasks will expand to fill the time you give it, you know? So I really like setting timers for stuff. I also, for some reason, like I can't time block. It doesn't work for me, where it's like, oh yeah, every day at 3 p.m. this is what I do. Like I can't do that. I'm just not built like that. Same, we're all working too much. Yeah, honestly. Do I have a day job? No, I'm doing content full time right now. But it's one of those things where like, yeah, as I mentioned, it's like I've been doing, so I have to obviously like do the content and do well with content so that I can like pay the bills, dollar bills, okay, but not the fun ones, okay, the ones that deduct, okay, gotta pay the bills. So for that, but then that also means like, yeah, basically just because I've been trying to do everything myself for all this time, I'm like, I haven't been able to code recently, which is like the whole freaking point. It makes me sad. Ooh, how's this experience been with this split keyboard after using it for a few months? Here, I will make an effort to do an updated review. I don't know if I've done a dedicated review for it. I don't think I did. Are taxes pretty annoying as a content creator? In Canada, I'm in Canada, taxes are kind of, yeah, but I don't do my taxes myself. There's no freaking way. There's some things that I think if things that could potentially put you in jail, you should definitely delegate to a professional. You know, I'm like, I'm going to get an accountant for this. I think the tricky thing with content is that you have to like reinvest a lot of the money that you make. Like, especially like this is my first 6 months. Like I'm in like such a ramp up of like, this is my first 6 months of like monetizing, pretty much like monetizing any of my content. Like before, I'd never really done any sponsors or anything for like, or like maybe I did like 3 since 2021 up until this year. Let's see. You guys want the keyboard, a little bit of a keyboard review. So you guys, when I initially spoke about my split keyboard as well, which I have the Keychron Q11. So when I first mentioned it, I mentioned how like the only downside of the Q11 for me is that it's wired. Because a wired connection is actually such a pain for me because I switch back and forth between like 3 different machines all the time, like multiple times a day. So I really missed having a switch where I could just toggle back and forth. Oh, what happened? Refresh. Are you back, Twitch? Are y'all winning, son? I think we're back. Lol, you guys, I think there's a chance I hit the space bar and that it was GG. It was good night. I don't know what the last thing I said was before Twitch went down. Yeah, YouTube is fine. YouTube is like the mainstream, so it's unfazed. My bad. Yeah, I won't touch the keyboard again. But my main complaint with the Q11 was just that it was fully wired, and I couldn't switch back and forth easily between different devices. But they sent me the Q11 Ultra in response. So now I have a wireless version, and I like it much better. I mean, it for my workflow, it makes a lot more sense. I don't know what, I actually did not check what the price difference is. But it's like full Bluetooth. Like, the only thing that's kind of interesting that I'm not sure about with this one is that you have to charge the halves separately, which I think is interesting. Because I feel like there should be a way to like basically connect the 2 sides for charging and then plug the charging cable into one of them. Bluetooth is bad. I think it's maybe like depends on your setup. Cause I'm okay with like, I mean, so far it's been pretty decent connection and stuff. Like I haven't had any issues with it, but I've only been using it for like a day. Okay. But yeah, that's my only thing is I'm like, the charging is interesting. I don't know yet how long the charge lasts. Please make a video on how to install flakes on NixOS. Just run Nix develop. That's all you do. Oh, but installing a flake? I don't know. I don't know. I like the wireless because then I can, like switch back and forth. Also, my desk is always, it's so chaotic in the first place. Last thing I need is worse cable management. All right, you guys, should we get into some reactions? Oh, wait, also, before we get into the reactions, do you guys like it when I give you the behind the scenes on stuff, or is it like TMI? You're like, girl, no one asked, you know? Give me a one for positive, 1 for you like it, 2 if you don't. It's fine. Yes. Okay, you guys do like it. Okay. I just want to check because, you know, I'm just out here. I'm like, I feel like I would be curious about this thing if from your POV. Like, if I was watching, I'd be like, how does this creator do stuff? How do you do that? What is this starting at 1 instead of 0? You're so right. You're so right. That was embarrassing. Okay, guys. Jump in. Strap in. Put your seatbelts on. We're going into freaking Twitter. Okay? We're on freaking Twitter. Name a worse thing that could happen being on freaking Twitter. Okay. All right, so yeah, light mode. Listen, I don't use Windows. We're on my Windows PC right now. It's irrelevant. Who freaking cares about Windows? You know what I'm saying? You think I spend time on this computer? I only use it for stream. Pain in my butt. My eyes burn. Put your sunnies on. Put your sunglasses on, chat. Everybody put your sunnies on. Protect your eyes. All right. So they say 2 months ago, I was fired by Google for creating the Google Workspace CLI. It went viral, hit #1 on Hacker News, gained thousands of GitHub stars, and many thousands of actual users in just a couple of days. It was an incredible, confusing journey from directors and leaders asking, hold on. Okay. It was an incredible and confusing journey from directors and leaders asking what they could learn from the tool to getting grilled by legal about why the Google logo and brand colors are on the Google Workspace GitHub code repositories. Yeah. I think the cause was that Workspace and certain leaders and projects were afraid of being disrupted. But the fear wasn't specific to my CLI. It was a broader fear in what agents meant for Workspace. Either way, the irony of my termination was the announcement at Google Cloud Next 2 days before I was hired that an official Workspace CLI was coming. Okay, so you basically built a competitor. Did you basically build a competitor with your company's branding for a product that they were working on actively? Am I getting that wrong here? Is that what happened? I want this out there because it's easier for me to explain my story, and it's an experience that I want to fully own. It's also part of my healing. Nearly 7 years at Google was an incredible opportunity for me, and I was fortunate to have wonderful teammates and a manager that fully supported me through these last few months. Thank you. Man. So, okay, first things first, you're basically creating a product. You work at a company. When you work at a company, by default, and you have that like publicly visible, by default, you are a bit of an extension of that company, at least on the platforms where you have it stated. Like if I see that somebody has it in their Twitter bio where they're like founder of this company, I'm like, okay, you founder of that company. Or even like if you're high enough ranked there where you're potentially a decision maker or have impact, whatever. Your actions, I'm going to take your actions as a direct reflection of the company's values and how they are willing to treat people. Like if I see somebody that says like, oh, I work at this company in their Twitter bio, and they're like roasting people online. Yeah, I'm not interested in working with that company. You know, I'm like, ooh, yikes. This is the kind of people they hire. So I think the main issue here is like, to me, it seems like almost doubling down on Google branding, which, especially coming from a Google employee, makes it seem like it is endorsed by Google. Like it's basically leveraging that brand's reputation for your own project, which if it's something that they've approved and is in fact directed by them, you can do that. But otherwise, this feels like a bit of one, it's a huge conflict of interest because they are actively developing something that directly competes with the product you just launched. But it's also like leveraging a brand that you don't have the authority to leverage. It's really interesting. Also, one thing that's also often in employment contracts is that the work that you produce while you are at a company belongs to that company, which is like total other side tangent, but I just wanted to mention that for some of you that I saw somebody in the chat mention this is why you don't do open source under your own name unless you're paid to do that. My guess is like there are some companies that will either try to take ownership of those projects based on your employment contract. Also, yeah, if it can tie back to your company in some way, there's a chance that they can, potentially grab ownership of that. I think the main issue here is basically, like leveraging the Google branding without proper authorization from Google to do so is a huge violation of trust, frankly, because branding and trust is such a huge part of like company success. Now, Google is such a big company. I'd imagine that like you're working there, you're excited about something. You'd imagine that like maybe your project is not necessarily going to be so visible. And that if it does become high visibility enough, that Google would be grateful for that kind of like positive reception. But I definitely think that this is something where you're double dipping here. There's like, you're putting way too much emphasis on like, this feels like an official Google product because you work at Google and it's using Google branding, and especially like not consulting the team and legal and all of the right avenues that you need to at a large company like that. The fact that they were making that this is like a direct competitor to something that they were making is wild work. I think that if Justin has spoken to other members of their team, including their manager, if they spoke to their manager, the manager that fully supported me through the last few months, I think this to me is a problem. It worries me. Like, I don't know if this means that they fully supported them through the last few months, like in building the project. But I think that somebody should have mentioned, like, obviously, you know, if you don't clue in that you have to like go through the right avenues, somebody should have said that. Somebody should have said that, because I do think that there should have been some level of like friction before getting this thing out the door to say like, hey, don't forget, you need to make sure this is not a conflict of interest with your work. Yeah. So if that is the case, then I feel bad. I feel really bad for like, especially, I mean, you know, getting laid off right now is a terrible place to be. And I really don't wish that on anyone. Especially when you've worked somewhere for 7 years. But it is one of those things where this is quite a big oversight to not, especially like, yeah, just, especially with the competing product. Yeah. Yeah. I just wish that like, even if he just forgot that could potentially be an issue, I just wish that anyone else that he spoke to about this project came forward and said something. It's a typical thing in contracts that everything you do in your work time belongs to the company that you work for. Yeah, so this is also part of where, I mean, obviously with open source, it's a bit different because it is stuff that you're not tying the branding and stuff. The biggest issue here is the branding. Rough. Yeah. I just wish, like, I don't know, maybe I'm too, I don't think I'm that forgiving, but maybe I'm too forgiving where I'm like, oh, I wish that he had gotten like a slap on the wrist for this before, but it's like, it's because it got so much visibility is why they can't pull back on it. Like this has to be a big problem, because then it runs the risk of like other people leveraging the Google branding for their own projects or purposes, which isn't big. Wait, there's, on this similar note, there was another tweet that I saw that I thought we should talk about. This one. So you guys know this. So this person was filmed. There was somebody, you know, standing around that was filming, and she got fired from her job for stealing this trash can. I saw the video. She basically, this is a city trash can where she picks it up, dumps all of the garbage onto the sidewalk, and then takes the trash can with her, which, I mean, one is disgusting, frankly. But I don't know that this is her basically getting aggressively like doxxed. They're basically trying to identify who is this person from the video, and then the outcome of that being her livelihood is basically taken out from under her. I don't think that that's necessarily like, to me, it feels like a bit of an overcorrection. I think that in a situation like this, one, we need to bring back shame. Like, oh my God, we need shame more than ever. People need to feel a little more embarrassed for things. Okay. I think that she needs to be a little shamed or feel ashamed for her actions. But I think that there are so many other corrective measures that could have happened here instead of losing your job. That said, she was the director of DEI. So at that level, I can start to see why JP Morgan would potentially either want to suspend her or have some kind of punitive action where they no longer want their company associated with somebody that has kind of like now gone super viral for something that is, most people would not be thrilled about, right? Like, you don't want necessarily like that image being representing your company at that level. So I can kind of understand it from that POV, but I think like there's other corrective actions that could have taken place here, especially like, taking away her income is not a solution to this. I think that what could have happened here is like the city workers that had to clean up the mess that she made, she should have out of her own pocket paid them for their time, given them a bonus for that. She should have community service hours, public apology, return or pay for the public property, probably return, okay? Return the public property. Like, that should have been, I think that like those steps would have been enough to say like, hey, I'm going to learn from this. Like, I'm going to learn a lesson from this. This, I don't feel is necessarily going to be like, oh, I'm never going to do this again. It's just like, oh, it's not, there's no room for her to like redeem herself at this point. It's basically like she's done something that is not good for the greater community and that, is harmful to other people. Other people had to go and clean up that mess. It's taking like tax dollars to like, obviously like with the trash can and stuff, public property. But yeah, I think that now it's basically like, oh, look at this terrible person and what this terrible person has done. And it's going to continue to have that kind of connotation to her name. And I just think that we should offer more like room for redemption on stuff like this. That said, I kind of understand like being fired when you're a director of a company, like you are representing that company at a very high level. You can't be pulling stuff like this. But I think the privacy side of this that bothers me is that like, she made a mistake. She should learn from that mistake. She should be given an opportunity to own up to that mistake. But God, I've read chat and I messed up. I read chat and I forgot my train of thought. Hold on. I forget. Oh, right. The privacy side. Okay. The privacy side that bothers me about this is like, you can make a mistake. This is obviously like, I'm not condoning this at all. There are worse things that could happen. There are worse things that people can do in a public space. The fact that she's being filmed without her consent, making a mistake that she should be able to salvage. But this cost her job because people were so determined to identify this person and punish her for what she did. That part I don't love. Like, that is where it becomes a violation, because it's like, I think that if somebody makes a mistake, they should have the opportunity to make up for it. But now she is what? She's basically like sensationalized in the media. She's gone viral for something that she apparently cannot, is irredeemable. And yeah, like the companies are going to see this. This is going to harm her career. She's committing a crime, but that's the thing is even crimes there is law and order for things. She's committing a crime. What is the solution? Like what is the solution to that crime? Probably, I would guess she could be fined and and like community service is what I would guess. And that to me seems just to be able to undo that. A public apology because it went so viral is probably a good idea. But for this to like, this could potentially impact her career for like years. And all of that stems from the fact that people decided that they wanted to know who she was to punish her. And I don't think that I like that. Yeah. She did not post it online. So Tartar is saying she posted it online for $5K. She gave up a $300K job for a trash can. I don't think she posted it. I think she was filmed. She did something stupid, obviously. She did something stupid. That is a crime. She's going to be paying well beyond what would be just for that crime. That's what I think about that. It's just, I don't think it's, I really don't like that the internet, like cancel culture this is an overcorrection. This is an overcorrection. You know? You're saying it isn't fireworthy, but imagine you're a company, there's a risk of company association. So I think this wouldn't be fireworthy if she was also at like a lower position where she's not necessarily representing the company. Like at a director level, you do have to be a lot more aware of your brand image because you are as a director, you are likely in a lot of situations where you are speaking on behalf of a company. So at that level, I can understand why they would want to part ways. But I'm just saying like this, I feel like this is something that could have been corrected in a less extreme way. Wait, oh my God. Janet, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. We're going through we're drama today. Okay, Jay says, that part I agree with, but you need to assume now that if you're in public doing something you shouldn't be, that you will be recorded. It sucks, but that's where we're at right now. I agree in principle, but in reality, it sucks. So, but that's my point too, is I'm like, it sucks. That shouldn't be the reality. It shouldn't, they should have been able to identify her. Like they identify her through the video. Don't make it public. Make her fix it. Make her accountable for the crime that she committed. Don't make it cost her entire life. How do you know she doesn't normally do stuff like this? Well, she can get caught. She can get caught. If this isn't, I mean, she was freaking confident. This probably isn't her first time. It could be her first time getting caught. And like, you know, learn from that. She's allowed to still get penalties. This seems like such an overcorrection to me. Okay, on to the next. Linus Torvalds. I gotta get my headphones. We're talking about AI. It's one of those crimes that shouldn't ruin your whole life. Yes, like, I'm sorry. Okay, wait, can I first say, there are so many freaking people out there that are genuinely predatory, so damaging to our society, that have not been fired from their jobs for something way more horrific at a way deeper scale than this. She's gonna get fired? She's gonna get fired for stealing a trash can? Brother, we got people hurting children that haven't lost their jobs, that are being protected at their high-paying jobs. Put them on fucking blast. Where are they at? Put them on freaking blast, okay? You know what? You know what? The people that found her, listen, we need you. We're recruiting you. Find the others. Find the people that are actually like genuinely hurting people. We can get them. Sick them. Sick them. We need it. Okay. Next. Are you guys ready? Okay, I don't know how loud this is going to be for you. You're going to have to tell me if it's too loud. I didn't test my audio first. Okay.
So my opinion has always been that, hey, AI is a great tool, but it's a tool.
Yes.
And when I see people saying, hey, 99% of our code is written by AI, I literally get angry. Because those same people, I pretty much guarantee that 100% of their code is written by compilers. But they never say that, right?
Okay.
It's exactly the same issue. I grew up writing machine code, and when I say machine code, I don't mean assembly language.
My brain is broken.
The numbers, and I mean it leaves an imprint on you. I still remember LDA is hex A9 on the 6502, right?
Correct.
And it took me a while to understand that writing down the numbers and calculating offsets for branches is kind of stupid. And people had come up with this tool called an assembler. And then later on, I figured out compilers are good too. And these days, I'm figuring out AI tools are good too. I'm still writing the code. I'm just not doing it the same way I did when I was basically typing in numbers in data statements. I'm personally 100% convinced that AI is changing programming, but it's not changing the fundamentals. Exactly.
So is he basically saying, it sounds like he's basically saying that AI is just a higher level of abstraction that we will be adopting as programmers, but ignoring all of the other side effects of AI for now. Okay. Is that sounds like what he's saying?
That you all use compilers to actually generate your code.
I love my compiler.
You will all use, well, not maybe all of you, but a lot of people will use AI to generate the code that the compilers use to generate the code that the assemblers then use to generate the machine code. This is revolutionary in the same.
Also, compilers are free to use. Compilers are not owned by some mega companies that are trying to that are, you know, charging you $5 every time you want to compile your program.
Same sense that we've seen revolutions before. And AI will increase your productivity by a factor of 10. And I claim that compilers.
They don't take gigawatts of power to compile. You're so right. There are paid compilers. There are paid compilers? Are you guys, is this real? Can someone look into this? What? Visual Studio costs money? But like compared to AI, come on. Let's say AI talk is demotivating. That is, for what it's worth, that is not the intention with this. I'm interested in Linus's take on AI because I am just a Zoomer. I have my opinions on what I feel about AI, but I haven't seen the patterns that, you know, people that have been in the industry, my elders, the people before me, I haven't seen what they've seen in the industry. I want to know so that I can make my own educated decision on how I feel about AI. And that's okay. I think that it's good to like get the full range of emotions of people's takes on AI and then come up with your own ideas. We don't got to be sheep.
Increase your productivity by a factor of 1,000. So AI is great, but AI is not changing programming. It may be changing other areas, don't get me wrong, but I'm a programmer, so I don't care.
And one of the things, sorry, my voice is already fading. One of the things that I think has always been true when you look at the code written by developers. Good developers write good code, other developers write code that then breaks. And the same will be true for the people prompting the AI tool. People who know what they're doing, who understand systems, will be able to prompt tools to write good code. And people who don't understand the complexity of systems will also prompt systems and write code, and it will fail.
And I think you do want to understand how it all works in the end. I don't program in machine code anymore.
Wait, imagine Imagine there's like a skill threshold. Imagine it's like you only get so many things you can generate, like for the environment, right? This is like the new environmental restriction that they put. And they're like, there's only so many things. Try generating a bunch of stuff. Okay, build some projects. And then it's like, they like bar you from accessing AI because they're like, you know what? You're wasting it at this point. It's lost on you. I think that would be so funny. Imagine they're like, listen, we're cracking down on the environmental impact of AI. So all of you that are fucking bad, you can't write it anymore. You can't use it. That's funny.
I still look at the generated code. So when I use a compiler, even when I use AI for my pet toy projects, I will use AI to generate code. I will look at that code. I will actually still look at the assembly language end result because it's what I grew up with. It's kind of what...
Yes. Looking at the end result, I think is a big distinction that I did watch this earlier. Looking at the end result, I think is a big distinction here because a lot of people are not looking at the end result. And I think that that is like probably one of the biggest like determining factors on whether or not the software is going to be maintainable at all is like making sure that you're actually, there's still human code review. There's still, it's passing some level of QA, okay? The quality cannot be left at the door. You're too dumb to use AI. Maybe.
My comfort zone.
Maybe a little.
And right now I'm playing with microcontrollers anyway, so you really want to actually look at the generated code and make sure it's doing what you really want it to do. So I think even when you use AI for coding, if you do a project that you actually maintain long term, you need to understand not just your prompts, but you need to understand the end result too, because that's the only way you can maintain it long term. And it's easy enough, and we see that all the time, where you basically generate a new project and it's a throwaway project and it's a one time and it's over.
Yeah.
And AI is great for that,
different.
and we call it vibe coding. But if you want to make something serious, you're going to have to maintain it for 35 years or something. And at that point, it's a lot more than just writing the prompts to make somebody else generate the code.
I mean, I like to so I didn't agree with his first one necessarily because I think a compiler versus AI is very different. That said, like he's also been through that generation before the whole like FOSS movement where everything was proprietary. So it's not like this isn't the first time that we've had something like this in tech where, you know, where there's almost this paywall, this requirement to pay these like a very small number of entities that are at the top. And I like that he made that distinction at the end of like, you know, sometimes you can just throw it at a wall and, you know, that's a one-time thing, one-time use project. One-time use project, all right? But looking at the source code, making sure that you're still interacting with that level of the project is really important for anything serious. I like it. Our bestie SD, you guys. Okay. These are Bitcoin Teddy. What do you have? What business do you have fucking speaking on behalf of PewDiePie? Bitcoin Teddy, who is PewDiePie to you? PewDiePie reveals how to break free from the algorithm. A lot of this is going to sound crazy, but you got to hear me out. It's a step-by-step process. I'm not saying you should do it all, but you should try some of it. Agreed. Honestly, love this arc. I gotta lock in on this stuff. The thing is I have too many computers and not enough desktops. I need a home server. I freaking need it. Because right now, the only desktop I have is running freaking Windows for stream. What am I supposed to do with that? Otherwise, it's all laptops. We need a home lab. Come on. We need a freaking home lab. Okay. Step one is creating friction. Step one is creating friction. I put social media and all attention-hungry apps in a second profile. I can't understate how much this changed my life. Those 5 to 6 seconds that it takes to switch profiles stops me every time, makes me think, is this what I want to be doing? This is something that I notice as well, is that for so many people, when they pull up like TikTok or Instagram or some kind of app on their phone that they like doom scroll, they'll do it without even noticing that they're doing it. You know, it's like a default behavior. So if there is something that can make it a little bit where you get a little bit more lead time for your brain to like clock in that you're about to freaking pivot into you're about to pivot into the ether, then I also agree. I think that's a good thing. This is part of why even with with like snacks and stuff, if you have a bad habit of like eating a lot of junk food, just don't keep it in the house. Make it cost a little bit more. Make it like a little bit more of an effort that you have to actively like go and get it whenever you want it. You can't like bulk up on it. Like you can't stockpile it. You know, adding friction to things that are not good for you is a good thing. I think that's a good idea. Okay, the second thing I did was self-hosting. Yeah, in this freaking economy, are you kidding me? Man, I wish PewDiePie had done this like 3 years ago. Damn. One tip, self-hosting. There, he's like, get in there. Get in the self-hosting subreddit, okay? You'll be gone. The effect that had on me is that I'm not the product anymore. The things that I use are mine, and because they're not free, I'm not paying with my privacy. I think the main difference is ads and nudes don't reach me. I love RSS feeds are so nice. I like RSS. I think RSS feeds, like, there's so many freaking smart people out there blogging, and I know you guys have heard me talk about Mastodon so much. Mastodon is one of the few places I find actually interesting blog articles, blogs to follow, interesting things that people are building in tech, in software. People are not just AI shilling. Like, there's no reason to like really target engagement on Mastodon because there's no benefit to it. Like, there is no algorithm on Mastodon. There is no like earnings on Mastodon. So it's just, I feel like it's the place that all of the really good people are at, man. It's like all the people that are sick of ads, sick of algorithms, you know, poisoning their feeds. They're just like, you know what? Nah, we're on Mastodon now. It's dope. I set up my RSS feed with a blog that I set up my RSS feed with some blogs that you suggested in a YouTube video. Do you like it? Is it up in the game? I have another couple blogs that I'll link after this one as well. Cause it's so nice, man. There's so many good ones. There's so many smart people you can learn from that are actually so freaking interesting and engaging. Okay. Okay, the next thing I did was disable shorts. I do not know how to disable shorts. I didn't even know. I didn't know you could do that. I like YouTube, but I hate how shorts are everywhere and I can't escape it. It was kind of true. And then I unfollowed everyone. I don't think this one necessarily helps. In Brave, you can disable shorts. Oh, interesting. Next, get a DNS blocker. You can remove ads completely. Most of it won't even reach your device. This is nice, you guys. Removing ads is nice, but also if you are, it does affect content creators, just so you know. You're allowed to make a decision with that, but I want you to know it does, in fact. So your favorite creators, if you have favorite creators that you want to support, whatever, you can either like, you know, watch ads, like their sponsored stuff, join their Patreon or whatever they do. Just so you know. I use FreeTube as a better YouTube front end. You know what? I've heard about FreeTube. I also have all of my videos posting on Odyssey. Odyssey scares me a little bit, okay? Sometimes there's a little too much freedom. I'm like, I don't want it. You know what? This one I didn't want to hear. Get them out. But I heard FreeTube is supposed to be a good YouTube alternative as well. Thoughts? Thoughts from the class, okay? These tech companies don't care about you, so you've got to care about yourself. The cheat code is building some friction and filtering out the noise. That is your defense and your cure. The awesome thing is that building friction, filtering out the noise, we're going to get like the hard extreme of this with Donald Knuth's update. Wait, what? It works better in theory, but side channel attacks are real? Wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about FreeTube? Oh, it's a better UI for YouTube. Wait, what's the one that I was thinking of? PureTube. Sorry, it's PureTube that I was thinking of. That's what it was, PureTube. Yeah, PureTube is the decentralized one. That makes sense. Okay, should we watch this? Also, this is so funny. Who's Jack? Who is Jack? What does he got to do with PewDiePie? Who's Bitcoin Teddy? You guys, is this how you know you made it? Is that you beeping or me? Maybe me. Oh, you know what? I think I'm getting Mastodon notifications. That's why. My bad, you guys. I didn't know. All right, let's watch it.
Going to sound crazy, but you gotta hear me out. It's a
Is this guy's name Jack? Is that how that tracks?
step-by-step process. And I'm not saying you have to do all of it, but you should do
Jack?
some of it. For me, the solution started with my de-Googling video. That's not to say Google is the whole problem.
Actually, if you guys are looking for there's another really good content creator that does a lot of like privacy focused videos. Why am I blanking on the name right now? Hold on. I follow him on a bunch of stuff. Let me find it. Oh, I can picture the avatar on his profile. You guys know what I'm gonna... He's been doing privacy videos since before it was cool. Okay, Naomi Brockwell is awesome. She's great. Frick, where is it? This is one thing about YouTube. Like, I wish that I could categorize my subscriptions. You know? Like, can I have tags or filter it in some way? Like, YouTube, I know you're already doing that. Can you help me organize my subs? I feel like it's... Okay, I need to look through who I follow. I don't think I follow that many people. I'll recognize it as soon as I see it. It's just going to drive me insane until then. Techlore. Techlore is the one that I'm thinking of. Okay, Techlore and Naomi Brockwell. If y'all are looking for some really good privacy-focused content, both of them do great. They have great videos.
With everything. Clearly, I failed with my de-Googling. I'm still on YouTube. And full transparency, I still use Google Maps. It's too good. It tracks traffic too good. Okay, what am I supposed to do? I tried using like a wrapper for it, but then they banned that. So thank you, Google, for smuggling. Again, I can't, there's no escape.
There is no
wanted to
escaping
remove
Google,
all
it's
the
true.
tracking and telemetry. So I put all those
They are a big
apps
brother.
that I didn't really trust in a second profile. Social media, anything attention hungry, it went on the second profile. And I swear to God, I cannot understate how much that has changed my life. Those 5 to 6 seconds that it takes for me to switch over to the other profile stops me every time from going, hey, is this what I want to be doing? People get dumb phones to stop themselves from wasting time on their phone, but really, that's all you need. You just need a little bit of friction. Now, my phone is what I want it to be, a device.
Oh, actually, that's a great point. So someone in the chat said this is why you use RSS for YouTube instead of your Google account. You guys, if you are setting up an RSS feed, you can actually get all of your favorite YouTubers. They have their videos show up in your RSS feed so that you don't have to even like get lost in the YouTube UI, which is kind of dope. So if you've got some favorites that you want to stay updated on, you can.
Device that serves me,
It'll update every time that they post a video.
not the other way around. I'm not the product. The second thing I did was self-hosting. You gotta self-host, man. They're coming for you. The effect that self-hosting did on me was that I am not the product anymore. What the things I use are mine, and because they're not free, I'm not paying with my privacy or getting algo schmucked. I think
This is one thing that bothers me about a lot of software now is that you can be a paying user and they're still collecting your data. I think a good number of people would pay for ownership. Like I actually, one of my like not biggest purchases, but like a big purchase that I made recently was for DaVinci Resolve Studio. I'm fine with that. I'm so happy with that purchase because I'm using DaVinci Resolve Studio and it is a one-time payment and I own that software now. Hold on. I feel like my mic is peaking today for some reason. I don't know why. Well, duh, of course they're selecting data. Yeah, they're like freaking hoovering, okay? They want it all. Pewds uses Tailscale, no doubt. You'll probably. So many people use Tailscale. I mean, the thing is I feel like if you want to, like, if you're okay to have the time, spend the time to set up Wireguard yourself, you totally can. It's more of like, it's a convenience thing, you know? Especially if you're a business and you have other things to like spend your attention on. Sometimes you just want to access your devices from somewhere else and have it be secure and not have to think about it.
The main difference is that ads and news don't reach me.
It's not that simple. Tailscale does natural result. You're right. I'm oversimplifying it, you know? It's not just Wireguard. That's what I'm saying though, is like there is a solution that you can have for self-hosting outside of Tailscale, but it is going to be basically just a lot more like setup intensive.
It's hard to explain the effect that this has on you without actually experiencing it. I am one of those people that believe how much the subconscious affects you. Even if you are not actively processing information, just the fact that it exists in your peripheral messes with your head. All these services going, it messes with your head, man.
It's easy to get like really, I think we're just so overstimulated. Like we're meant to be like freaking foraging for food and like, I don't know, whatever we used to do back in the day, whatever you used to do. Okay. We are like so overstimulated with all of every single thing is being designed to capture our attention. And that is so overstimulating. Like, honestly, low key, I understand why babies, when they have like a tantrum in public, I'm like, honestly, that's me with the apps. I'm also overstimulated. I fucking get it.
Like, even if you're not actively clicking on all these bullshit, you still see it. And I still think it messes with you. Self-hosting, I'm just here, vibing. It's me and the tools I use, nothing else. No noise. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna disable shorts. Poof, gone. You don't have to do this. I like YouTube, okay? I don't have to de-Google everything, okay? But I hate how shorts is everywhere. I can't escape it. I search, there's shorts. Homepage,
it is a lot.
I go to someone's channel, there's shorts, it's just shorts. Fucking shorts. I don't want to watch a short all the time. If I was running a website, I want to empower my users. Google CEO, hello? Why can't I disable if I want to?
Yeah,
why?
True.
Next, I unfollowed everyone. You don't have to do this. This is definitely a me thing. I just got really fed up. Next, get a DNS blocker. It's kind of the same as YouTube thing that I did where you block a bunch of stuff, only that it does it on a network level. So you can remove ads, you can remove websites. None of it even reaches.
Disable all notifications. I have no notifications enabled. I have notifications on my phone for like literally just like text messages and calls. And I still don't answer.
Your device. I think you owe it to yourself to take some time today and start building your tech fence. That's what I'm calling this, tech fencing.
Nothing
These
can
tech
fix
companies
me.
don't care about you. So you're gonna have to start caring about yourself. I care about you.
Wait, how do you disable recommendations on YouTube? Storms, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate it. Thank you. Me growling. I didn't know that was still on. Okay. I actually might disable recommendations because sometimes I'm like, the creators that I tend to enjoy are people that I find through like Reddit most of the time. Okay, listen, I'm a Redditor, okay? I'm a fucking degenerate, okay? I know. I'll find it on like Reddit or like through a friend, like word of mouth. And then often it's like I'll find they have a collab or someone else talks about them and then I get recommended. Like then I click on that video and then I'm like, oh, you post content that's similar to this person. They should really have like, other channels like this. Like we know YouTube has that information. Why are you keeping it from us?
That's why I'm making this video. So the cheat code is basically build some friction. It's that simple. Let your brain catch up and make the choice yourself. And also filter out the noise. That's your defense. And that's your cure. Now you understand the disease. You are free. Bon voyage. That's my new outro. Just kidding. Breakfast.
Interesting. All right, the next one. Knuth versus email. This is Mastodon, by the way. Okay. Okay, Donald Knuth is one of the greatest computer scientists alive. He quit email back in 1990, never looked back. His reason, deep work requires deep focus. Have any of you read Cal Newport's Deep Work? It's very good. He communicates by postal mail. I will say, I think email is fine. I think email could work. Once every 6 months. While we're drowning in social media and email notifications, this man is calmly finishing a masterpiece he started back in 1962. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is simply be unreachable. This is worth reading for anyone who works in IT industry or beyond. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, shit. Wait, hold on. Wrong thing. Oh my God. Okay, this is insane. Let's make it smaller. Wait, these are different. Here we go. Call this light mode. Guys, put your sunnies on, okay? This is evil. Okay, this also isn't working how it usually does. You're not going to zoom in the text? This is evil. All right. Okay, there we go. Email. This is from Donald Knuth. I've been a happy man ever since January 1st, 1990, when I no longer had an email address. I'd used email since about 1975, and it seems to me that 15 years of email is plenty for one lifetime. Honestly, based as hell. That's so good. Email is a wonderful thing for people whose role in life is to be on top of things, but for me, my role is to be on the bottom of things. What I do takes long hours of studying, uninterruptible concentration. I try to learn certain areas of computer science exhaustively. Then I try to digest that knowledge into a form that's accessible for people who don't have time for such study. The freaking legend. What a legend. On the other hand, I need to communicate with thousands of people all over the world as I write my books. I also want to be responsive to the people who read these books and have questions or comments. My goal is to do this communication efficiently in batch mode, like one day every 6 months. So if you want to write me about any topic, send a good old snail mail. Guys, should we send him a mail? I want to see. This is great. I want to send him a mail. I have a wonderful secretary who looks at the incoming postal mail and separates out anything she knows I've been looking forward to seeing urgently. Everything else goes into a buffer storage area, which I empty periodically. My secretary also prints out all non-spam email messages addressed to their Stanford email address so that I can reply with written comments when I have a chance. If I run across such a message that was misaddressed, and I mean, if the message asks a question instead of reporting an error. Oh, wait. I try not to get angry. I used to just throw all such sheets in the wastebasket, but for now I save them for scratch paper so I can print test material for the art of computer programming on the blank sides. I do not answer unsolicited emails, nor do I respond to emails that were sent to my colleagues with a bothersome request for them to communicate with me. Email is a no-no except for reporting errors in books. Honestly, this is great. Sometimes I do send email, though my secretary, with respect to the project I'm currently working on, when I believe that the recipient won't be bothered by my request. But I hope you can understand why I'm almost always unhappy with, oh my God, I can't talk. But I hope you can understand why I'm almost always unhappy to receive unsolicited email myself. Thank you for your patience and cooperation as I try to finish The Art of Computer Programming, a work that I began in 1962 that I will need many years to complete. Wow. That is awesome. What do we think? Underpants, thanks for gifting a sub to Donald Knuth. That is great, man. See, you know what? This is what leadership needs to see. This is what they need to see. And okay, hear me out. You send a link to this document, to this article, to leadership, and you say, as a subject, why programmers should not be in meetings. It's so true, though. I feel like we'd be so much more productive if we actually got deep work. Come on. No, bro saw spam and he said, I'm out. No, honestly, that's dope. I'll send a screenshot on Discord what I see on the homepage. Yeah, please do. That is awesome. Cal's book on slow productivity is also good. Ooh, I should check that one out. Yeah. I really like all of Cal Newport's books. They're really good. YouTube funnels everything based on trends, so we get some really bad recs. That's what I find too. Yeah. $1 million idea. Email to physical mail as a service. Yeah. We need to change the response times that we're used to. Go back to making it like every few weeks, okay? We don't want to hear from you, you know? We want to live in our own little worlds. Okay, you guys. Once again, Mastodon. Okay, this Corey person, I was reading more of their blog and it's pretty good. So we're going to look at some of their articles as well. So Corey said, well then, what are we paying for? Via Quinn Keist. If anyone can build in a world of generative hello? If anyone can build in a world of generative AI, I can't say that word today. Generative. Okay, we start again from the top. Okay, from the top. Jenga AI. I should just say that. If anyone can build in a world of Jenga AI, then when there's no when in there. Oh my God, what is happening? I'll give 5 subs if you can read that properly. I don't know that this is gonna happen. I don't know that I have it in me. Oh wait, hold on. I also lost my activity feed. So thank you so much to everyone who's been subbing. I appreciate it. Let me fix it. Okay. Let me thank everyone for a sec before we get into that, I guess. Sorm, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Test, thank you for the Prime. Malik, thank you so much for the tier 1. And Kodashan, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And Underpants, thank you for the 2 gifted. Okay, you guys, that probably is what I needed. That's probably what I needed, okay? What are we paying for via Quinn Keist? If anyone can build in a world of generative AI, what are people paying for when they buy software? Why would people buy software? Okay, and then Brian says, except for the OS, tech bros don't want you to buy software anymore. They want you to rent it. It's another layer of control. That's why FOSS is so important. Freaking right. These are the takes you see on Mastodon. Okay? Based and true. All right, are you ready? Okay, why are they subjecting me to this? Okay. Oh, okay, we're going to do... You guys, this is my entire window. Why is this center? This should be centered. Biting, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh no. Guys, what is this? I'm pissed. This is like half the page is nothing. Half the page is freaking nothing. Okay, I'm gonna We're going to crop it. We're cropping it. Okay. All right. Fixed. Oh, Firefox has a reader view. Oh. Damn, you're right. I'm on Brave. Brave also has it, apparently. You know what? That's so funny. I never use that feature. And I really should, shouldn't I? All right. There we go. All right. What then are we paying for? Software is problem ownership. Hold on. I gotta fix this again. What then are we paying for? Software is problem ownership. If anyone can build in a world of generative AI, why can't I say that today? If anyone can build in a world of generative AI, what then are people paying for when they buy software? Why would people buy software? When all software is a commodity. Anyone always could build it themselves, but they didn't because the intrinsic complexity and cost of building a solution was high, much higher than what it costs to pay someone else to deliver a solution. Generative AI exponentially brings down the cost of building solutions. It lets people build exactly what they want. It lets people build exactly what they need to solve an exact problem in an exact moment. It lets people own their own solutions. This is great for a lot of specific problems that need specific solutions that wouldn't normally get solved easily. This has been the evergreen promise of computers and programming and hacking. But there's a difference between solving your specific problem and owning a problem domain. Paying for software isn't for a solution, it's paying for someone else to own a problem. True. It's paying for someone who has the taste. What is with taste? What is with taste now? What is taste? Where did this come from? Anyway, it's paying for someone who has the taste and the context. Is that just skills? Do people just need talent? Is that what they're looking for? Okay. Anyway, rolling back. Okay. It's paying for someone who has a taste and the context to think through the details, for the operations and structures necessary to scale it, maintain it, and solve even bigger things. For the relationships that connect and abstract and expand upon the relationship in ways that they can't do, because they own the specific solution, not the whole problem. Interesting. Leaders hellbent on using generative AI. Why can't I say that today? Leaders hellbent on using generative AI to build everything in-house are asking their companies to own a wide portfolio of solutions and with it, a wide portfolio of problems. But when a solution breaks, when it needs a new capability, or when an edge case appears, it requires ongoing judgment. It requires problem ownership, and a company maintaining its own solutions is spending its attention on those problems rather than the problem it actually sells. It's allowing itself to become unfocused. And besides, if every company is building their own solutions rather than buying software, then who is left for them to sell to? This is kind of an adjacent thought to the post that I had the other day, where I was like, why are there so many solo developers right now? Surely we can get like 2 or 3 of them working on the same project and it'll just be a lot more sustainable for them, you know? Like there's so many people that are outside of their 9-to-5 are building stuff in hopes that it gets monetized. And I feel like it's okay to ask for help. But I know it can be really hard though to find somebody that you work well with. That could potentially be a big point there. I have decided I'm not a big fan of generative AI, not just because I can't say that word, but also because I prefer the, analytical AI? Yes. So I like analytical AI more so than generative AI. When I look at how I use AI and workflows that make sense for me to use AI, it's always analytical AI. I've never really needed generative AI. I think the only time I've ever used generative AI, or like not ever, but the only times that I could see myself using generative AI regularly would be like for my stream descriptions, so that you guys can see, so that it can like summarize in a description everything that we spoke about. So basically, analytical AI is artificial intelligence, including machine learning, natural language processing, large language models, to automate data analysis, get insights, and generate predictions. So basically being able to like, you have a large set of data and using AI to basically pinpoint specific things in that data. Like, I think that even if you have a software project, you're trying to figure out like how a feature works or where it is in the code base or whatever to like focus your attention within that. I think that is analytical AI. Generative AI is where it's actually creating content for you, meaning it's like writing code for you or creating images or, you know, doing stuff like that. So in the definition here, it's saying that generative AI creates new content. Analytical AI focuses on interpreting existing structured and unstructured data to support data-driven decision-making, process optimization, and risk management. So I think I definitely I like analytical AI, not as big of a fan of, I think, most generative AI. But we'll talk about that too, because it's, oh man, it's such a big thing to solve. Okay, hold on. Because there's another take on AI that I thought was interesting. Me looking at my bookmarks. Wait, you guys. This is my first thing that I have bookmarked. The most recent thing I have bookmarked. Oh well, how sad, never mind. Okay, but let's see. Oh, did I link it somewhere? Okay, hold on. What is brownfield? Ownership of software. Oh, wait, maybe it didn't save? Hold on a sec. Yeah, I don't think this saved. Okay, I'm gonna post this in the Discord because I want to be able to read it. So this is a really interesting take on AI, and especially because I'm somebody where I tend to lean like middle ground. Well, I think I'm pretty middle ground. I'm skeptical, but I'm like trying to be flexible with, you know, staying adaptable in the industry and, you know, not being too quick to dismiss changes. Okay. It's loading. Once it loads, I'll show you. Okay. So this one is also really interesting because this is me. This is calling me out 100%. Okay. So Emily says, a phenomenon I noticed recently is people trying to occupy some untenable middle ground with respect to the use of systems sold as AI. This is a position where people try to recognize the harms of this tech, but also hold space for responsible or ethical use. When someone is trying to hold this untenable position, a few things come up, not every time and not everyone. One is defensiveness. People read criticism of the systems and proposed uses of the systems as accusations that users are bad people. I feel like the only people saying that are like literally people that are working at like Gen AI companies that are freaking, you know, the tech bros are the only ones I've seen doing this. Okay. Thus, the criticism of the tech lands as criticism of the user and tensions flare. The next is righteousness. People do have legitimate needs, often unmet needs, and the synthetic text extruding machines can look like a solution. But just because the problems are real doesn't mean the solution is beneficial, effective, or worth not always externalized costs. Unfortunately, pointing out any of this is taken as the same as you saying you don't care about the legitimate needs. Yes. I've definitely seen both of these cases when you say, "Oh, I'm not super into AI." You know? People pounce on it. It's crazy. Okay. Whataboutism. This is used to brush off concerns about the externalities of these systems. You eat meat, you fly in airplanes. How dare you talk about the impacts of data centers? There's also the tone policing. People who are trying to occupy that uncomfortable, untenable space will claim that clear statements of harms and strong principles against the use of these systems will turn others away, as if the centrists are the ones actually pushing for a more ethical practice. I think, for what it's worth, I think with the entirety of the AI argument, I find ethics to be so hard to stand on solid ground against right now. Like, there's just so much pressure to use AI that to say, like, the ethical arguments don't feel like a strong enough reason to not use AI. Like, but I think it could be a marketing thing. And I'm saying that, like, I'm trying to say it objectively, right? Like, when we look at a big population of people, a lot of, like, it's very hard to just be like, ethically, I don't support it. And then it's like, okay, so then you're never going to get hired. You're never going to get whatever. Like, there's so much, almost like there's almost like, to me, it feels like there's a little bit of like a veiled threat with saying that you are like outright against it. Is that just me? Is that just me because I'm online so much? Like, I don't know. Because that is one thing. As soon as I say anything of like, oh, AI is not awesome, or AI is not like something you should be using for every single thing, I get so many people that are just like that just like pounce, like claws out, Yes. And I just don't like generative AI. But again, I feel like I'm so young in the industry that it's like, who am I to say that this is like, how am I going to predict the future of what things are going to look like? This is part of where I'm like, I don't want to mislead anybody, and I don't want to, I can say my predictions or my like hypotheses on how it can fit in and how we can try to like adapt to the current landscape. But I try to look to people that have way more time in the field than I do. And I like look at what they're saying about it, look at how they're adopting it, look at if they are or if they're not. It's just hard because it's like, especially with ethics in software have been so overlooked for so long that, I don't know, like the breaking point, I thought we'd already be at a breaking point to the point where I'm just like, I feel like ethics are just not taken seriously. So to almost like, to me, it feels almost like to stake your whole career on like the ethical argument against it is a tough place to put yourself, because I don't know, maybe I'm like, it's not going to change anything, But I'm not a huge fan of the generative AI, and I'm not, I think like outsourcing your thinking is just like such a disservice to yourself. I mean, freaking Sam Altman said it himself, where he's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be what? Like paying for electricity. You want to pay someone to be able to like have thoughts, to be able to like make a decision, To be able to figure out what freaking restaurant to go to? Like, no. Come on. No way. Okay. Exceptionalism. I know that this can be dangerous for people in general, but I know how to use it carefully. I know how to verify every output. I'm not just de-skilling myself. How would you know? How do you know? And also, if you acknowledge the dangers to others, what example are you setting by talking about it / talking up your use? If you acknowledge the dangers to others, what example are you setting by talking about it or talking up your use? This is me. You know, I'm like, how much, I feel like I have to speak up about it because there's so many people, there's so many creators especially, which I know hold a big voice in the space. And so many of them are like, I'm only building with AI, and they're getting paid a lot of money to say stuff like that, you know? And I'm like, I feel like I should speak out and say that, you know, there's a time and place for everything. But it's hard. It's again, it's hard to be like, do I need to be I think martyr is the word I'm looking for. It's like, I'll say what my apprehensions are. I think martyr is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I want to scream. Yeah. I have way too much to do to not use AI. But that's what I'm saying is I don't know. What am I saying? I think there's a use for it. But then there is that part of me that feels a little bit guilty for like the ethical side of it. Okay, anyway. So what is the best way out of that uncomfortable, untenable space? I think one key is disaggregating the non-coherent set of technologies sold as AI. You don't call this stuff with you work with AI. You aren't saddled with trying to defend any of the rest of it. The most recent iteration of this conversation I was involved in turned in part on a strange, overexpansive definition of Gen AI, which included, for example, optical character recognition. Okay, that is a stretch. That is a stretch. OCR is so valuable. We need to decentralize the tech, not getting angry at the tool. Yeah. Very interesting. What ethical implications are you talking about? Wait, there was a really good YouTube comment that I came across. Wait, let me find it. There's one that I came across that I'm actually I mention it in a video that I'll be posting. Guys, I'm experimenting. In one of the videos, I have included some comments from YouTube that are like relevant to what I'm talking about in the video. But I just like blurred out the names because I didn't want people to, you know, because it's my first time doing anything like that. So I don't want people to be like, oh, I didn't realize my comment would be like this public, you know? Okay. So let's see. So this person said, I thought they had made a really good argument, but they said, for one, I have yet to see empirical data to back up the idea that LLMs speed up the process at all. Anecdotally, the code it's given me is insecure, otherwise substandard, often enough that I simply don't trust it to produce code I can rely on. Most of all, I don't see how I can ignore the mounting societal costs of all of this. Even if I did enjoy delegating all of the actual creative work, that aftertaste would be tough to swallow. I sympathize with anyone being pressured at work to use these tools. I'm lucky enough to not be in that situation, and I understand that you have to do what you got to do. I understand that you've got to do what it takes to keep your job, but let's not pretend that the use of the tech is neutral, neither ethically nor in the quality of the result, nor in terms of maintaining your skills. Okay, wait, that actually didn't answer the question of ethics of AI. Okay, I think a big one that I see on Mastodon is like the environmental impact of AI. The water usage is a big one of Gen AI. Obviously, there is the fact that it is basically like stealing works, right? It's companies that are profiting off of the works of people that are now being displaced potentially based on the fact that their knowledge is now being made more convenient and cheaper. So there's those two ones. There is also the ethical implications of, like how it affects society. Like, I don't know that I don't think that the addition of AI has necessarily been a positive social impact. Right? Like, people are feeling like their skills are atrophying. They're having the hardest. They already were struggling with their attention span and stuff. They're having like the hardest time of probably ever focusing on the tasks that they need to do. It's displacing jobs. What else? It just doesn't seem, it's causing a lot of misinformation. People are getting, scams now. Insane. Yeah, the ethical implications of ingesting other people's copyrighted content and digesting it. Yes, the ethical side of this has long since left the barn. I know. The unfortunate thing is that I just don't think that any of the arguments for like the ethical side of tech, I don't know that those are ever going to get seriously acknowledged by any major companies. And I think that it's unfortunate because if you are a company that prioritizes these like ethics, it puts you at a disadvantage. And that's a really hard thing to stomach. But it shouldn't, because it shouldn't be allowed. But, like, what do you do? It's a big tech issue, not AI. Yeah, that is big tech. That is big tech. No, when I'm saying like also some like these ethical issues, it's like everything related to, like user data, privacy. These are things that have been going on for a very long time. AI is just like one of the things. Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to click on that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I think another step is a values examination. What is important to you? How are these values supported or not by entering the discourse in a way that holds space for OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta, and all the other actors in this massive push to shove AI into every part of our lives as not all bad. Yeah. What are your research goals? What do you value about participating in scholarship? How do you meet those goals and act in accordance with those values? And what obstacles are getting in your way? I just don't know that this is realistic anymore, unfortunately. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, it's like, I think our dollar, how do I say this? Voting with your dollar is going to have probably more impact than letting yourself fall short. Like, because it's a disservice to yourself to not take advantage of tools where as long as they don't hurt you, or they're not actively hurting things. I'm trying to explain how to say this, but basically if you put yourself at a disadvantage, you're in no position to be able to uplift any case, any cause. I think that's the point I was trying to make. I'm like, how do I make this point? That's the tricky thing about ethics in tech, is that like that also means it's like, okay, well, if you're abiding by your ethics, it's going to be incredibly hard for you to find somewhere to work that aligns with those ethics. Because it's just not what's been favored in the tech economy. Open source. We love open source. This is why for self-host, we need to open source. But then it's like, that's what's difficult too, is it's like open source is the only real kind of contestant to this, to any kind of predatory tech marketing or services. And yet it's unsustainable. People can't do that full time. So like, how can I want open source to be sustainable so bad. I feel like so many people would pay for software that supports open source as like a one-time payment, whatever, to like have ownership of the thing. I don't think open source software needs to always be free, but then it's kind of one of those things of like, but then it's like not available to some people because it's not free, you know? Like freedom of information. Everyone should be able to, I think, self-study and be able to learn new skills and all of that stuff. It shouldn't have to have a price tag on it for that to be made available. But then that also means that the people that are offering that stuff to everyone are potentially at a disadvantage. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, Richard Stallman would not resonate with that. Paying for open source would piss him off. Yeah. So then it's not open source. But that's the thing is I don't know. People forget to donate. I think people just forget to donate. Any chance to implement a closed caption option in your stream? Oh, YouTube. I think YouTube has it. Martise. YouTube has closed captions. I can see about adding one on Twitch. That's why there's a bit more delay on YouTube as well. Okay. The strategy, oh wait, what was that? The strategy was to charge for changes made to the source, selling the developer's time instead of access. I like that. People should get their bag if it lets them continue to build software that's useful for others. That's what I'm saying, but it's like, how do we get them their bag without making it without making it a problem? Yes, Test. So Test says in Germany, we have something called Open Source Fund where you can hand in your open source work or projects that you work on and contribute to, and the government covers like half of your salary to work on the project. I think Canada has some stuff like that too, like a lot of grants and things like that. I don't know for sure if it's specific to open source, but I'd be surprised if they didn't. Oh, YouTube doesn't have closed captions until it has time to process the VOD. Wait, really? I thought that's why I changed it to not be ultra low latency. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't think there's anything I have to enable. Okay, I'll look into that maybe. But yeah, this is such a can of worms. All right, we read this one. Wait, yeah, we did read that one as well. Look at us go. Okay, building the future. Yippee, building the future. Where I work, the company was forced to implement the AI model to keep receiving investments. Yeah, that's like actually the state of things right now. Oh, can you share the Mastodon? It's actually, I posted it in the Discord actually. Yeah, there was okay, sorry, that's that's funny. All right. Alrighty. Building the future. Okay. So this is going to be, I love hearing the POV of people that have been in the industry longer than me. You know what? I just love hearing people's perspectives. I like getting all the perspectives all lined up, and then I get to, like, from total opposite ends of the spectrum as well. And then I get to decide for myself where I sit. All right. Watching the tech hype train while working in the industry has always felt a bit surreal. there's this nascent feeling that what I'm working on, while it pays my bills, either won't amount to much or is potentially a net negative. I'll admit that I'm predisposed to cynicism and will freely cast off jokes at the expense of what I observe. It's easy to do. But what's being built and what's the value? The pervasive hype we find ourselves gripped with is AI. Is it the future or is it a bubble? This is the question we're all asking, you know? It's like, how much of this is going to affect me long term? I have an overabundance of skepticism, like we all have an overabundance of tokens until we don't. Okay, that was kind of banger. I do and don't understand the compelling points of this all. From a business perspective, you can sell into enterprises effectively and garner significant investment by promising to lower labor costs and replace those pesky employees. That's the argument. Eventually, at scale, your labor costs decline while productivity increases. The numbers work until they don't, frankly, from what we're seeing. From a labor perspective, you're seeing the field you work in de-skilled and market power shifting to employers. Yeah, and they pissed because we took them for all they had in 2021, okay? They took them for all we had, or we took them for all they had, okay? As their situation becomes more precarious, you concede more. You take a lower salary, fewer benefits, and worse conditions. It's a dynamic not at all unlike what we saw platform companies introduce with gig work. Honestly true. The argument there, granted, it was tailored to both consumers and the people working in each disrupted industry. Flexibility on both sides, and that flexibility was, in fact, precarity and job insecurity. None of these jobs are materially different. Taxis accomplish what they accomplished before, but they are materially worse. You do the same job for lower pay, fewer benefits, and an opaque platform mediating the entire process. With zero customer service, by the way. Nada. None. Crazy. You get a freaking chatbot when you got to report something. It's like, okay, never mind. This was not for the best. Bring me back. Okay, take it back. Take it back. We don't want it. In much the same way, AI companies promise to democratize any number of fields. What's missing here, however, is that all of these fields are already democratized. You can be an artist. You can be a musician. You have to put in the work, push through the friction, and learn. What you create will be better for that work and will have meaning. Typing in a box does not make you an artist nor a musician. It's like that meme where he's writing with a pen and it's on fire. Preach. Damn, son. Say it louder, okay? Coding until I can buy a house. Brother, that's not coding. I'm not seeing any coding going on there, okay? The skills are missing. Okay, sorry, not bad. Flame them. Fucking tell them, okay? Wherein democratize actually means de-skill, friction builds competence. It builds personal investment in the craft. You put time, effort, and pain into honing your work. It is a craft, yes. Or you go to school, you study, learn, and invest in a profession. I think this is also the biggest thing that people are frustrated with right now is like people feeling that all of the time that they've invested into becoming a skilled programmer is now just like wasted because it can be done easier now, you know? Also, guys, that was a joke for the record, okay? I'm joking. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Okay. A prompt does none of this. It spits out an output, yes, but it's an output devoid of meaning or effort. This is so true. This exact thing is why I'm not that interested in what people are making with AI. Like, I feel like to me, so much of what I think is interesting about products and about like things that people are building is that it has their own thoughts, their own opinions, their own like style. You know, it's like every single person has, I don't know, like a uniqueness to them that shows up in the work that they do. And yeah, I don't know. I like the human part of it. You've given up doing the work and lost meaning and value in return. It's an indefensible trade-off. Platform work represents itself in a similar trade-off. In embracing promised convenience, you've ceded control over your work. You've lost the power and reward that accompanied that control over your relationship with customers, over how the work is done, over anything the platform decides it wants. There is value, however, in what these tools can do, who extracts the value, who profits from it, and what it costs to generate are all massive, glaring issues. Yes, these companies pillaged the internet. Yes, they're building data centers in communities that don't want them. Yes, they're accelerating the climate crisis. Yes, they're making every cultural issue they touch worse. They can write code. They can recognize patterns. Is the code good? It's verbose, but perhaps ask engineers now tasked with reviewing the code that's both verbose and ever increasing in volume and devoid of context. There are uses here. Is the value commensurate of the cost? If you own it or profit from it, I'd imagine you'd argue that it is. But if you're also in a position where those costs are being externalized, much like gig work, but you're also, But don't worry, you're a visionary. Wait, I'm going to reread that. But you're also in a position where those costs are being externalized. But don't worry, you're a visionary. Wave your hands. Those aren't costs. That's disruption. People will adjust, maybe. Who cares? You're a genius. You're also an artist and a musician. The depressing part, naturally, is for everyone on the other end of the dynamic. The folks running these companies will gesture broadly and generally at concepts like universal basic income, while a robust social safety net funded by a fair system of taxation would help ameliorate these harms. We have neither the latter nor the former. Relying on the benevolence of private companies who are incapable of or unwilling to offer specifics is a not insignificant contributing factor to how we found ourselves here. Is the tech industry building the future? That this is, I feel like, I don't know that this needed to be in here. Is the tech industry building the future? Yes, I think that's hard to argue. What is easy to argue is that it's a future that most folks don't want. I'm not hopeful that it'll be meaningful, I'm not hopeful that that'll be meaningfully expressed without the benefit of hindsight, but I remain confident that the result will not be anywhere in the vicinity of tech's vast, idyllic promises. Yeah. I don't have an actionable solution here either. I believe in the power of collective action more than I do the impact of individual economic decisions. Very Canadian of you, TBH. Very Canadian and European of you. I also can't predict an outcome here. What I can say is that it feels like we've been here before and that folks will be hurt when everything shakes out. Some of the wreckage will be companies that invested in it. Some will be those that hyped it. And some will be those that pushed out by the hype. Yeah, see? That could be me if I keep talking shit. No. For real though. I also know that some folks will walk away fabulously wealthy looking for the next big thing. That's so true. Oh, man. I think this was a really good article. I like it. I think not having an actionable solution is very much the place that everyone is feeling right now. There is no certainty in the space right now, and I think that is what's leading to so much unrest. It's like it's bad, it's shameful, or it's, to go full force one way or the other. It's, again, I think it's my prediction for all of this is just that it's a tool. It's going to be a tool. It's going to be another tool in the tool belt that's going to make our lives easier. And that's how it's going to go forward in the future. The only potential negative thing about AI is purely based on the direction of leadership based on what they think AI is capable of. AI is an excellent tool. There's so many things that it makes easier. It makes things so much more convenient. But it can be abused. That comes at the cost of, your own cognitive abilities. And then it can also be exploited by, it can be exploited by leaders. where they say they justify unsustainable work conditions with this technology. So I don't think like the technology itself is necessarily like the villain or anything like that. It's just like, what are people going to like, what actions are going to be justified based on the capabilities of this thing, and like that, and what will be excused, you know? Yeah. OETSI says, I feel like it's not actionable because AI wanted to come in like a tool that would grow in your toolbox, but instead it came in like a wrecking ball and missed the thing that it wanted to target. And now we're trying to fix what it broke. Exactly. But again, I think like so much of the issue that people have with AI is from leadership, is from the people directing these large companies that came in and said, oh, we're gonna get rid of people. We're going to get rid of people. We're going to reduce jobs. It's going to save us money, and that's going to be great because we only care about corporations. It's going to lead to worse results that people are sick of seeing. I'm sorry. Nobody wanted to see AI generated Super Bowl ads. Like, you're spending so much money to run an ad campaign here, and you're not even going to get a proper designer. Be so for real. You know, it's like, it's the usage of the tool is what's been villainized, is what's made it villainized. It's the tool itself is very powerful, is great. It can be so helpful. We've been dealing with burnout in tech for so long. AI is one way that you can quickly unblock yourself, quickly, you know, you get derailed by something, CI breaks, you have to fix it. You're in the middle of some other change. Like, you don't have to fully derail what you're up to fix CI. It's like, okay, AI can pinpoint what went wrong and fix it. But yeah, I think it's just I think what's wrong with it is that it's highlighting a lot of issues or polarization that we were already kind of facing. But now the excuse is that it's the tool, not the people behind those decisions. Yes, it's purely an empathy and an agency problem at the moment. 100% agree. Instead, AI made burnout so much worse, right? AI should have given us more time to be able to make better decisions, because time and space is necessary to make good decisions at work. That's what it should have allowed for that. It should have allowed for more skill development, more skilled workers, more freedom to improve your skill set. And instead, leadership is like, oh, perfect. Now we're going to fire people and make you do the job of multiple people. Come on. Be so for real. All right, we can talk about data ownership. Actually, I'll read your chats a little bit more. A lot of free time for those who have been fired, honestly. Gets outsourced by AI, not by countries. Yeah, that was already happening, true. AI, when properly used, causes the programmer more work, not less. I think it depends. I think there's so many ways that you can use AI that makes your life easier, that makes you not have to do the parts of your job that you don't like. But what pisses me off is when people have to do the parts that they don't like and the AI gets to do the stuff that they liked. What's the point? What's the freaking point? All right. Data ownership, you guys. So we're reading another one of their blogs because that was fire. They were spitting fire. Okay. Corey, thank you for the banger vlogs, the banger blog posts. Okay, we're putting it in reading mode. All right. Owning your data. Owning your data is hard. I've been trying to own as much as I can, and my site has become a reflection of that process, both in what I display and discuss. As difficult as it is, there's freedom in owning as much as you can. When Twitter was sold, I joined the migration to Mastodon. I have my own instance where all of my posts sit, and I pay for this to be hosted. But Mastodon makes migrations easy and the data portable. I haven't been on any of the Meta's platforms in over a decade, have never used TikTok, long ago jettisoned LinkedIn and reference both YouTube and Reddit on an as-needed basis when searching for something. LinkedIn, I don't like LinkedIn. TikTok and Instagram I've started posting to because it's like, I'm trying to do the partnerships that are going to be like the least, like good impact, but like the least intrusive. And I feel like Instagram and TikTok are the audiences that are like most okay to get ads. You know what I mean? It's a little, yeah. It's a bit of a necessary evil, I think, for like content creators. All right. When Last.fm, under the previous ownership of Paramount, was on the precipice of being sold, I exported my listens to Listen Brains. I used the structured export from Listen Brains, I've never heard of this, to bootstrap the music portion of this application. Wait, we got to check it out. Oh, wait. Dude, what? Connect your music. It's open source. Ooh, okay, this looks cool. This looks cool. That is interesting though, how he didn't have target blank. He got to use target blank for external sites. Okay. I've gone to absurd lengths to control my music data and how I listen to music. Rather than use tracked, I import data on shows that I'm actively watching and track my own activity. I import and track movie data alongside TV data. I'd be so curious to see like what intervals are you updating that? You know? I've left Apple Books in favor of an audio bookshelf instance where I listen to audiobooks, podcasts, and articles I've saved. Man, I wish I knew about this before because Audible, man, I was stuck on Audible for so long because they're so evil. You go to cancel and they want to steal your credits. You have to spend all of your credits to cancel. Otherwise, they eat them back up. And I'm like, I paid for those. Is that not theft? What do you mean? I built a PWA leveraging audio bookshelf through which I read all of the EPUBs that I've stored. Reading progress is sent to my site and reflected on my reading page. I maintain a reading streak alongside... Wait, what is your reading page? Stop. You guys, I love this. Are you for real? Yeah. I'll drop the link. I love it when people read, like they're passionate readers. They love reading and they share what they're reading. Yeah, here guys, I can give you a link to the article as well. I'm gonna probably chop up this stream into videos and have everything like linked in the descriptions as well. The best you can know about a person, not all of it, but some. Yeah, it's so good. I'm trying to get back into reading more because I honestly, I read Game of Thrones and then I was like, I felt so lost and betrayed that the series is probably never going to get completed. And it's such a good book series that I was like, I can't even look at another fiction book right now. I'm so hurt. I want more time to read. I need to find it. Yeah, I've been trying to read. I don't really watch much TV. So I've been trying to read instead of when I would normally want to watch TV, like when my brain is fried and I'm like, I just want a fun story. Right now, so I just finished Room, which is kind of like a horror book. I don't know if it's a horror book. Hold on. I don't know if it's a horror book. I don't know, but it was like, okay, it's called Room by Emma Donahue. I just finished that one this weekend. I didn't It was interesting. It was a decent book, but I don't know that I would read it again. Just because it's written from the perspective of like a kid, so the actual like writing of it is kind of weird at times. Like it takes a while to get used to. But I really like. So I'm also reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because I haven't read any of that series. So that's another one that I'm working on. Name of the Wind is like Game of Thrones, but 10 times better. I need it. I love fantasy, actually. Fantasy books are really good. I really want to read the actually the Lord of the Rings books. I think I would probably really enjoy. You read the whole Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. It's so good. I've heard it's really good. I'm like not far enough into. I'm what? It's such a big book. Like I'm not that far into it yet where I'm like super invested in any kind of story. It's still just kind of introducing the characters. Guys, post your books in the Discord. We need it. We need it. I would be down for maybe like a fiction book club. The only thing is I like reading at my own pace. What are we supposed to do about this? You know? But that could be fun. Ooh, Andrew said for the Audible stuff, I farted around in a AAX to MP3 converter to archive my Audible shenanigans. So smart. Okay, I might look into that. You're so wise. Okay, but that is awesome. I really like that he's got his whole reading page. Now we've got more books that we can read. And honestly, if any of you community members want to like lead a book club in the Discord, you're so welcome to do that. If there's anything that I can do to support, I'm happy to do that. But just, yeah, let me know. Let me know if any of you want to lead it. I'd be happy to mention that you're doing it in the streams and stuff. Danny says, hey, you mentioned to use RSS for YouTube. How do you use it? I'm trying to set up Alligator as an RSS reader, but it seems that YouTube RSS links are tricky. I can't quite remember how I set it up. I think I just went to, I think there was like some kind of like RSS. I think it was literally, it might have been this. Newskeeper.io. Is this what it is? I think I might have just used this. From this Reddit thread. Yeah, you get like, there's like RSS converters where you give it a channel ID or a link to the channel and it'll do that. You should build a book and authors app and open source as a template project. There's a Literal is a book, is a good one. Literal is a good app for like tracking what you're reading, and it prompts you to like rate books once you finish them. That's one where you can like follow other people and stuff too, which is kind of nice. Some of my old coworkers and I were on that together, and so I got to keep up to date on what they were reading and if they liked it. Alrighty. Okay. I only use GitHub for work and have moved all of my projects to self-hosted Forge Joe instance. Interesting. I've not heard of Forge Joe. Oh, interesting. A little self-hosted lightweight software forge. I've heard really good things about Git as well. Why not using RSS that comes with Emacs? It's on my list. I have a RSS reader on my phone right now, but I need to get the RSS set up on my Emacs as well. Oh, Forge Joe is a fork of Git. Interesting. What's the more security focused? Huh. They started it after Git was bought out. Oh. Codeberg is based on Forge Joe. Okay. Well, we're gonna look at this guy's recommendations, and then I've got another. God. He's trolling. Did you guys see that pop up? Wait. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh my God. Thank God. Wait, can you see it? No. One of these sites is trolling me. They changed I was like, what is this? I was like, I definitely didn't look at anything up anyway. Don't worry about it. Okay. I self-host and follow news in Fresh RSS and save links in LinkedIn. What is this? A self-hosted bookmark manager designed to be minimal. There's no reading. You guys, it's all cut off. What's the point? Okay, well, I'm going to look at it. Oh, wait, this is so interesting. I want to see a demo. It's taking a long time to load. Okay, it's taking a little too long to load the demo. I'm not going to open it. This guy's so funny. Okay. Analytics on this site are minimal and sit on a self-hosted Git counter instance. I host my contacts in Bashbunni. Store my photos and image. So I will maybe include a post. Maybe I'll do like, I feel like I need to actually like look into each of these services or something, or do some kind of comparison. Because I'm like, I'm just reading it and it doesn't really, I don't know that this is that helpful for you, but whatever. This site sits on a boring VPS and deploys are managed in Coolify. Everything I write or take note of is stored in Markdown files and edited using Obsidian. I don't own everything. I'm not brave enough to host my own email or password manager, honestly, for the best. I'm using Apple hardware because my family lives in that ecosystem. I'm blocking their analytics as best I can. That is awesome. There's a significant measure of freedom in owning all of this, but there's also some maintenance overhead. If things go down, updates can go awry, or DNS can be DNS. True. But for all that complexity, I'm able to engage with news, media, and the internet on as close to my own terms as I can get. I can dump data from an app, and I can connect the apps that I own however I see fit. And eschew platform constraints. What I listen to, watch, and read is tracked only by me and exposed as much or as little as I'd like. However, while I can connect to the applications I use, I'm closed off to the centralized services that I refuse to use. I haven't missed them. I've found joy in missing out, in reducing noise, avoiding dark patterns and hostile affordances. Honestly, so real. So real. We need this. I'm better able to focus on what's in front of me and communicate purposely over chat and email. It's worth noting that this was a time-consuming process and a rather technical one. It isn't convenient until you build conveniences for yourself. What I would love to see more of is movement towards decentralization, more open protocols, and more users abandoning centralized platforms as their stance towards their users become increasingly adversarial. The tools are here. We should keep building with non-technical users in mind. That's very true. He's so funny. Okay. So this guy is awesome. So you'll see, we can talk like full on. He's like super big into like decentralization, and he does like Nomad. Oh wait, sorry, I'm cutting off. I actually mentioned his blog in my list of blogs that I liked. This one's very cool. So you can actually look at like he shares everything of like the SIM cards that he'll use, and like everything when he's traveling. And even let's see, infrastructure providers, whatever. He self-hosts a bunch of stuff. I run an open WRT router that manages my private network no matter where I connect to internet through a Netgear or a cable connection. Let's see, like Office Suite. I think he does something. Yeah, instead of Google Docs or Microsoft Office, I use pure text form data. I mostly use NeoVim and Pandoc for spreadsheets. We got to get him in Emacs. For everything more sophisticated, I might resort to LaTeX or even full-blown LibreOffice. Here. Collaborative work often happens either on a Git repository using pure text form data or CryptPad. What is this? Point .fr? Is that my Frenchies? Wow. Flagship instance of CryptPad, the end-to-end encrypted open source collaboration suite administered by the CryptPad development team. Wait, this is really cool. This is sick. Wait, diagrams. Thank God the French are involved. What is happening here? Oh. Yo. I remember having to make diagrams in school. I haven't had to make diagrams outside of school. TBH. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's cool. Kanban. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is really cool. We should self-host this. Go to your crypt drive. I can't go there. Markdown code. This is really cool. All right, what else? Backups, rsync, restic, rclone. Look, like he's so thorough. You can look at all this hardware stuff too. Belongings, minimalism. Yo, what's up, Kinder? Hello. Library. Wait, we have more book recommendations. Stop. This is awesome. Guys, we're locked in on the book recs today. Okay, 10% Happier, 1984, Brief History of Time. Okay, we got more book recommendations. Actually huge. We're set. We're actually set. Yippee. Okay, you guys, do we get into the tech bro stuff? Ah. Are you ready? Are we ready for this? Okay, you guys, we're getting into tech bro stuff because I think that the other stuff was harder to talk about. All right. Alrighty. There's so many. Can I filter them? These are Seattle Tech Bros specifically. I've got one for Seattle, one for Bay Area. We're on freaking Reddit, okay? Okay. Well, we'll see what the best format is here for future reference. Okay. So we're going to go through some of the worst date experiences with tech bros because I'm trying to find where we can get unhinged tech bros. I know that they're out there. I know that they're doing some crazy stuff and I need some reports, okay? I need to know. Okay. So this person says, oh, hold on. This is cut off. Okay. So this one says, went on a double date once and the other guy was a tech bro. I introduced myself and the first thing he says is, you work in biotech? We're going to make that field obsolete soon. Mind you, he hadn't even introduced himself. He just asked me what I did and then let loose with that zinger. Nothing like trying to, I guess he's trying to make her insecure off the rip. It's like, actually, you're going to need to stick with me because I'm going to be making the big bucks here, okay? Don't worry, girl. I'll take care of you. You can stay at home. Get in the truck. You know, like, what? What's your name? Madison? Madeline? Yeah, good enough, okay? Like, what? I asked him if he had any siblings and he said, next question. What does this mean? Hello? Why would somebody ever reply with next question if you have any siblings? I mean, they're like, I don't talk, we don't talk about them. It's he who must not be named, okay? That's a third date answer. Is this insinuating that tech bros are only children? Am I missing something? I think it's more that he's so self-centered that answering certain questions are a waste of time. I didn't even think of that. Oh my God. Only child, but doesn't want to say he's an only child? Oh no. Okay. Mine was an early variety tech bro, 15-ish years ago. He was determined to tell me all about how much money he had, how much money he spent, wasted, okay? And that was about the only topic of conversation. I have met people like this, actually. I've met people like this, and I'm like, cool, so what's your personality, man? Hello? Hello? Say a freaking joke. Nobody cares, okay? Nobody cares. He recently bought a condo near Green Lake and was telling me about fixing it up. And I was asking genuine questions and excited because good job, dude. And then I mentioned how I'd recently replaced my sink at my place and what an upgrade it was. He asked me why my landlord hadn't done it. And when I said I'd bought my condo a few years before, he was convinced I was lying since I was only, gasp, a nanny. Dude. I'm better than you because I work in tech, obviously. I didn't know other people bought homes. No. 15 years ago too? No. Actually, tech bros, you, a woman, could never buy a house. Me, a tech bro, I'm making the AI mad money. I buy the houses. You buying my houses up? I wanted that. Maybe I wanted to buy that one. It's weird. Freaking weird. He kept challenging me and asking me questions about the closing process. That's crazy. Not him getting insecure that you've bought a home. Not getting insecure that you've bought a home. Asking me questions. Imagine you're like, good job, man. Like, that sounds so exciting. I'm excited for you. Yeah, I just did this thing recently. And then him being like, well, you obviously freaking rent, right? Woman, you freaking rent. And then she's like, no, I bought it. And then he's like, so tell me more. What does this purchase look like? What's your interest rate? Suddenly it's like an interview on the logistics of buying a home. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Bye. Okay. Oh God, I know. Guys, if you have a link to any Reddit threads that have like more recent, I want AI tech bros. I want to roast the AI tech bros. I need it. Okay? Need it now. Okay. Wait, no one with the guy taking them to their Google office yet? I mean, come on, what a great date. The free dinner. You can watch him catch up on an email or two while sitting on a yoga ball, and you can finish the night in the game room playing foosball. It's such an amazing date idea. Dude, imagine you're on like first date and he's like, oh wait, actually, like, you can meet me at this address, whatever. And then he's like, you know what? Actually, I just need to run in here real quick. And it's like the Google office. He's like, he goes like this. He goes, come on, darling. Get up in here. Come on, darling. Let me show you around. Let me show you the spot. Just forget it's a Google office. You're at work. You're working. This is your place of work. This is worse than the day in the life videos, okay? What would you do if you saw your coworker rolling up with a date? You're like, I'm working late tonight, and freaking Paul here just brought a date to the HQ. What's happening? Would security on site allow that? Well, I've heard some people like visit their friends at a Google office. Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't go, you know? I'm not saying I wouldn't go, but like, that's so unserious. Imagine. I'm like, yeah, I want to go in the Google office and check out their food. Is it worth it? You know? Is it worth the cost to play? Show me the golden handcuffs, so they say, okay? Oh my God, you have to register and get a badge at security. You can visit with a friend. Imagine, okay, you have to pre-submit the name and get a guest pass. Imagine they put the wrong name. They're like, oh shit, like I didn't know which one it would be tonight. Like, you're Melanie, right? No, I'm Ashley. Awkward. Well, is that cool with you? Oh man. I've taken my parents for free lunch. That is awesome. That is definitely something you should do. I mean, I think it's great. I think that is very funny. I like, you would have to go. There's no way you're like, nah, I'm good. Sure, yeah, let's go to Google HQ and roll around on like, I sure, do you guys remember those? Okay, wait, I gotta find them. Do you guys remember those little like pedal, not even bikes. Oh my God, how do I explain this? It's like push seated wheel thing from like the mid 2000s. There's a chance it was a kid's toy. Nah, never mind. I can't find it. There was something you used to be able to like go so fast. And you'd like sit on it and you'd pedal, but the wheels were like good. The wheels were locked and loaded. Okay. Let's find this. Okay, not a date, but I had a tech bro aggressively read the game. Oh, wait. Sorry. Not a date, but I had a tech bro that clearly read the game or some other pickup artist garbage and tried to hit on me aggressively in like 2011. I didn't know they were this bad for this long. I didn't know they've been this bad this whole time. The negging didn't work the way he wanted, but he tried to escalate with a magic trick. No. I mean, I wonder what was the magic trick? You can't just say a magic trick. Oh, I see. I thought it was, if it was like a bunny in a hat or something, and then he's like, yeah, this is Todd. This is my bunny. I'd be like, okay, honestly, dub, green flag. He wins that one. Okay? Unfortunately for him, it was a magic trick that I already knew how to do. You pretend like you don't, right? So I asked him if he just walks around with a fake thumb in his pocket because that's really fucking weird to do. Maybe he just likes magic. Fancy pants. What if he just likes magic? You know what? We need more magic. I would love to see more people pull out a freaking fake thumb from their pocket for a magic trick, okay? That's so, I mean, I'm not on her side. I'm on his side. I'm on the tech bro side shockingly. It reminds me of like Arrested Development. Isn't there like one part where they're like, I can't remember who gets super into magic. Oh, we need more of that. I miss that. There's something so endearing and joyful about that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He was not off to a great start with the negging. That's true. It was such a weird experience. It continues to live rent-free in my head. Like, what in the world is an adult woman going to be sexually attracted to a magic trick? I mean, I think it shows personality. I think I think a magic trick of any kind shows some effort. I Yo. The first reply, I mean me kind of. That's awesome. She's like, "Wait, we're not with you." Wait. Their profile picture is the mom from Arrested Development too. We're on the same page. We're on the same page here. What you're saying is that he needed a better magic trick. For real. That's awesome. Hold up. The Game is a wholesome book about playing hockey in the 70s for the Montreal Canadiens by Ted Dredden. What is this other bullshit book? Oh, The Secret Society of Pickup Artists. No. Oh, no. I like that the first reply is like, wait. Actually, I mean, me. That sounds great. Do you know how cool it would be to roll up somewhere and someone does a magic trick? Like, you don't see that anymore, okay? That is 100% human ingenuity here, okay? At work. But I'm also somebody, I used to love like pranks, you know? I used to love a good prank. I had like the flimsy pencil where it's like, oh, someone asked to borrow your pencil and it's like, Meow. Yeah. Okay, this was during the snow apocalypse of 2012. I don't know what that is. There was a guy who had been courting me. Courting. That's, how old are you? 2 occupants and a baby. You know what? Okay, we're going with it. There was a guy who had been courting me for months, and I finally caved and gave him a chance. Isn't courting dating? Isn't this that they're taking you out on dates? They're just not, you're not in a relationship with them. You're deciding if you like them. It took you months to decide if you liked them? Dude, I feel bad. Asking to be considered for dating. I mean, you know what? Persistence paying off in this case, okay? He took me out for my choice. I wanted to let the right one in. Why is this capitalized? He spent the entire time complaining and asking if I was as bored as he was. What is this? I feel like I'm missing some context of what this is. I should have gone home, but I was lonely. We got food after. He didn't like the food either. How do you not know this about... Oh, it's a movie. He spent the entire time complaining about the movie and asking me if I was as bored as he was. How have you been interacting with this person for months and you don't know that they're negative? This sounds like they will be negative with everything they do. There's no way you went into this without knowing that. Okay, wait, guys, I got a little bit further in that, and I'm like, wait, I don't think I can show this on stream. That was so much more, okay, that got graphic, okay? All right, I didn't read I should have read the full thing first. My bad. Oh, NVIDIA, this is relevant. This is relevant to the new one, okay? All right. There was the NVIDIA guy. Wait, who is the NVIDIA? Okay, this is their first post. Then there was the NVIDIA guy. He pulled a U-turn and cut me off in a crosswalk to ask me out. That works. No, I'm just kidding. I would smack their car. Probably not. I'm Canadian. That would be terrifying. I'd be like, I'm going to get kidnapped, okay? This is Taken 3, okay? This is turning into I need it. Liam Neeson, where are you? Save me. Save me, please. Honestly, the boldness of that was intriguing, so I gave him my number. Okay, it did work. I was wrong. It worked. Okay? Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, this is the same person. Okay, wait, I gotta skim through this one first. Because last time it was a little TN. Okay, this person's giving a lot of information. Okay, I skim over it again, and she's like, this is how the night went. And I'm like, this is more than I ever wanted to know about 2 occupants and a baby, okay? Please. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. Gave me career advice I didn't ask for, and then at the end told me that if I lost about 10 pounds, I'd have a killer body. That's sick. Oh my God. What in the world? I didn't text him back after that, but also wouldn't stop taking work calls. Wait, so he's taking work calls, and like in between calls, he's like, you should lose weight. Like, hello? Who hurt you? That was my worst by far. The best one was with an older guy. We talked all night about non-tech things. Walked to the Fremont. Nice guy, but there wasn't that much compatibility. Hope he's doing well. Interesting. Guys, should we get the Bay Area ones? Oh, tech chick. Yeah. Yeah, Rick. Okay, can I offer one about a tech chick? I met a woman at the bars on 2nd and we hit it off. She starts making out with me at the bar and I walk her home. We had just met, so it didn't go any further. She tells me to text her the next day and we'll finish the date. I end up texting her to let her know I'm not going to be around until Friday. She starts losing her mind about how I led her on and should have known my calendar. Dodged a bullet there, okay? I'll say it. Dodged a bullet. Good thing she's doing that off rip, okay? Now you get to say, yeah, you know what? I checked my calendar again. You're so right. There's no room. Yeah, you don't fit. There's no room for you on my calendar. We discussed this second date at 2 a.m. I go to a restaurant with some friends a couple weeks later. She's there with a ring on. Turns out she was married, and that's why the timeline was so important. Dude, tell her husband. Walk over to the table and say, hey, it was great meeting you at the bar the other night. That was a great kiss you gave me. Who's this guy? I don't know, something. Like, fuck. Tell them. Bro code. You gotta tell her husband. That's crazy. That's crazy. You got it. That's, oh my God. Okay. This is a long one. I'm skimming. Okay, I think this one's appropriate. Okay. Back when I was dating, I'm in a relationship now, I went on dates with tech girls. Some were great, a few were terrible. When I lived in SF, there was one woman I went out with. After a couple drinks, we went back to her place. After some not a great time, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And she said, I want to make my ex jealous. Brother, run. What are you making other people accessories to your petty agenda, much less photo documenting the problem? Yeah, that's crazy. I would throw up. I would actually throw up. Okay. This was years ago in Seattle when I was in my early 20s. We went on a date and she was just a menace to the wait staff, incredibly rude to the wait. Oh my God, no. Is this the same woman? Oh, wait, how did they, wait. With a couple, they went after a couple drinks? Oh my God, okay. I was like, wait, how did they not know that they were rude to wait staff before that? Oh, they didn't even go for food. Dang. Yeah, no, immediate. You're rude to a waiter. Like, leave. Literally, like, get out. I don't even want to I don't want to be seen in public with you. Out with you. Okay. At one point she said something kind of demeaning to me, which I can only assume she thought was flirtatious but was just mean. Oh, wow. That's so vague. I want to know more. At the end of the meal, which I wolfed down just to get out of there, she said she wasn't going to tip for such poor service. She asked, where to now? Where can you afford to go if you're not tipping service workers, okay? That you were rude to. Where can you afford to go? What do you mean, where to now? Without thinking, I just said home, and she seemed kind of struck by that. And then she said, yeah, I'm down. She invited herself to your alone time. You said, you know what? I'm done for the night. And she said, yeah, me too. With you. We go together. We're in this together. That is a crazy, that's a crazy thing to say in return. And when I realized that she thought I was implying, or what she thought I was implying, I just said, oh no, I meant alone. Learned a valuable lesson that night. Drinks, then meal. You can always up the ante if things are going well, or finish a drink quickly if they aren't. But if you sit down for a meal, you're strapped in. Oh, interesting. Okay, so these are different people, I'm guessing. Okay, these are two different people. Oh, so the first time he was like, oh, we're going to get drinks. I thought that was like, that they didn't see that they were rude to service staff. You could go for coffee. You can go for coffee and see how they treat service staff. I think it's very, you know what? If you don't hold the door open for other people, bit of a red flag. Maybe, you know what? Maybe at my standards, you know, I think they should be kind to service staff and also hold the door open. If there's somebody walking in behind you, someone leaving behind you, hold the door. If somebody didn't, if they let the door close, I'd be like, one strike. Okay? Be kind to fellow humans. All right. Okay. This is minor, but we went out to Mox. She showed up like 20 minutes late, but that's fine. It happens. It was an okay date. At the end, I was walking her to her car. When we get there, I'm mostly thinking, do I kiss her? Was this good enough for that? Dude, after a first date, kissing after a first date is that's too much. Stay away from me. I don't know you. I don't know you. You're still a stranger. No, don't do that. Okay, when I noticed her car is parked one wheel over the curb in a handicap spot across from a hospital. Wait, her car is parked one wheel over the curb in a handicap spot across from a hospital. So she's using the handicap spot at the hospital? I just said, wow, I didn't realize it was an emergency. This is very funny. I would laugh. That is a really funny. That's very funny. She said, yeah, I figured they wouldn't tow me in like an hour or two. It's pretty minor in the scheme of things, but just really rubbed me the wrong way. No, this is like, I figured they wouldn't tow me for an hour or two. What about someone who's handicapped who needs to go to the freaking hospital? What do you mean? You know what? This is like, that is so self-centered. As if it's all about you. I'm not, you know what? I really wasn't worried about you getting ticketed or towed. If anything, tow you now. Like, what is happening here? Okay, also you can take 2 seconds to repark after ramping your wheel over the curb. Yeah, honestly, true. I've seen people do that and I'm like, how? Like, how? Oh my God. He asked me point blank why my job wasn't obsolete, saying that they could just write a simple program and automate it. LOL. I'm a pharmacist. Dude, this is the tech bros that we are so annoyed with. This is them 3 years ago. This is them 3 years ago. Oh my God. If it was so simple, the pharmacy corporate overlords would have done that a long time ago. I've been on other dates with tech people, which weren't terrible, but over and over again, I found that they are, one, overworked and burnt out due to the nature of how the big five operate. True. And two, don't know what they want to do with their life and social because of said burnout. Honestly, kind of true. They don't know what they want. I feel like in some cases, it can be like they don't know what to do with their life because they've been so focused on their career for so long. Like, you know, you got to be pretty heads down, like studying and everything to be like in software. I can definitely see some people like never taking the time to actually explore their interests and their own identity outside of their job. Okay. And then 3, they're lonely from moving to a big city, which is understand what. Okay. This isn't a cons list or anything, right? This is normal. This is normal. Or maybe she's like, oh, they're just wanting to go on a date because they're lonely. Okay, number 4 is they wonder why they can't find stability in friendships and relationships when they, just like the rest of their cohorts, are willing to drop everything to relocate states on a whim, and tech people seem to be moving constantly. I mean, yeah, because they pay them like $250,000 or more to move states. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. This makes sense. It also seems like the reward for finishing a project is starting another project. Yeah, true. I think the other thing is that for a long time, these companies really gas these workers up, calling them the smartest, hottest folks on the market. And so the tech bro attitude comes from them believing that they're actually better than everyone else. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Also, I think maybe because software, I feel like the stage at which you're creating software for a product, or I feel like as a software developer, it's easy to feel like everyone else needs something from you, whereas you are a relatively independent contributor, you know? Like you're used to people being like, oh, I need something from you. Oh, I need this information. Oh, I need this feature done, whatever. But like you very rarely, because usually it's a product manager or whatever that give you the tasks that you need to do. So you're kind of like, oh, I'm not used to ever having to like go reach out to finance and figure out, you know, the intricacies of their workflows to model that as software. Like there's very little like cross collaboration, I feel like, between different departments. I always need something from analytics or QA. Yeah, but are you, I don't know that you're one that's looking down on other people anyway. But analytics and QA, those are still like technical, like very technical roles. I don't know that there'd be that many software developers that would be like, oh, I'm better than you because you work in QA or analytics. Or maybe they would. Maybe they just feel like they have the most impact ever. Okay, you guys, we're gonna go into the Bay Area ones. This is also from 3 years ago. I can't find any newer ones. Okay. Oh my God, he made me call him master. No. I want to find the one. I want to sort by like the highest voted. Guys, I only want the horror stories. No. What is this? Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm not. Okay, well, that one was a dead end. Pick top all time. It's not letting me filter it, and it could be because I'm not signed in. Okay. This is 2 years ago. Update on the tech bros in Seattle. Okay. We're talking about tech bros. It's not dating in the tech bros, though. Okay, some people are mad. Okay, there's like 2 responses to this thing. Okay, when I was commuting on a bicycle past the Microsoft campus near the 520 trail in the evenings, people would spill out of the offices onto the trail on their way to the bus stop. Virtually all of them were staring down at their phones. They would walk in random straight lines until they almost bumped into something or someone. Then they would change directions and walk in straight lines again. The cumulative effect was as if someone had released a dozen humanoid Roombas. That's very funny. It was hilarious, especially considering they were some of the brightest people on the planet. Okay, they said they're fine. Many of my friends are in tech. They're good people. But it's one of those cases where people who are doing nothing personally wrong can have an ill effect on society, driving up the housing costs and cost of living. A city's healthier and diversified economy when it's livable to people with a wide range of income. The tech's outsized success produces an imbalance that threatens that. At least we're not in an SF situation, but we're close second. But I wouldn't put it on the individuals to not pursue lucrative careers. It's on the city to balance things. This is interesting. Tech bro is a specific stereotype, not just any man that works in tech. True. It is true. Go to old Reddit and sort by hot. Oh, for the previous one that I was on? Hold on. Okay, no, not the user. Is it old.reddit.com? Oh, it won't let me. No. Okay, it won't let me. That's fine. I'm tired anyway. This is too much talking for me. Wait, no www? Oh. Okay, I'll try one more. Oh, you're right. Hold on. Let me see. Because if there might be some more bangers from that Seattle thread. Oops, org. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, you're right. Okay, okay. There's maybe some all right. Oh, too much. Too much. Back it up. Back it up. Okay. Went on a double date once, and the other guy was a tech bro. I introduced myself, and the first thing he says was, you work in biotech. We're going to make that field obsolete soon. We did that one. How do I collapse this? Okay, I'm going to read that one. Mine was an early variety tech bro. Oh, wait, we did that one. Wait, did we? Yeah. Oh my God, wait, this is awesome. We met for a date at Mox and he immediately pulled out a board game from his backpack. I would love that. Didn't ask if I wanted to grab a drink or anything, just sat down in the middle of the room and immediately started explaining the rules. That's awesome. Dude, I love board games. This is great. You should have asked if you wanted a drink or something, but like that's what the server's gonna come around. The server's gonna come around and ask, no? This is a power move. Yo, I'm with him. It was a game about quantum physics and was extremely complicated. I like to think I pick up things fairly quickly, but he was getting upset that I wasn't picking it up quick enough. Anyway, we played 2 rounds of this game with him. I played 2 rounds of this game with him, getting increasingly frustrated with me. I left after about 30 minutes is very fast. How are you going to learn a game in 30 minutes? Also, he looks nothing like his pictures online. If you just wanted a buddy to play your board game with, I think there are better ways to meet those people. I mean, I think I'm with him. The board game that's a power move. Yeah. This is different. This is just your average software engineer. True. You know what? He's playing the long game. He's like, we can't do a game that's easy. I gotta do a game that she's gonna have to keep coming back for. You know? It's a game that I'm really good at, and I'm gonna have to keep defeating her this time so that she'll want a second date. We play the game again. She gets better over time. Yeah. He should have let her know that this is the game we're gonna play. This dude's out getting IQ testing on his dates. Yeah, for real. That's so funny. That's awesome. To be fair, if I was meeting at someone at Mox, I'd expect to be playing board games, but not offering food or drink. Oh, is it a board games place? I was totally prepared to play some board games. I love them. At the appropriate learning speed, though. Okay, I will say he should have had a better sense of humor. He should have humored her with not being good at the game. Like, I'm sorry, you're winning. What are you complaining about? But that is awesome. That's great. Okay. No one with the guide taking them to the Google office. Oh, we saw this one's so funny. I have a PhD in STEM, but do not work in tech, etc. Every single tech bro I went on a first date with spent most of his time convincing me how I am wrong in my career choices and I should make money like them instead. As if money is the only valuable thing in life. They're so right. I'm kidding. Okay. Ooh. Let me double check that this is gonna be slightly not safe for work. Wait. Okay. Damn, I want to read them, but I'm like, I think I'd have to do that in a video where I can blur out the stuff that I can't show. I don't know what I can show on this thing. Uh-oh. Okay, this is from the 2 occupants and a baby. I can't block things though. That's okay. I think I'm done talking. My voice is starting to hurt. Anytime I feel imposter syndrome at work or I feel like I'm feeling socially awkward, I come back to this post to remind myself that I'm doing A-okay. That's awesome. Reading this, I wonder if it was more you did bad career choices or you could make some serious money going to tech. Honestly, yeah, that's true. That's true. There's tone. Are they misreading the tone or is the tone accurate? We don't know. Oh my God. Wait, this is awesome. The worst ones never made it to a date. They'd ask me what I do. I was getting my PhD in computer science at the time. And then they would quiz me. I can't tell you how many times this happened. Dozens. What? I'd play along and then unmatch after they were satisfied that I was telling the truth. Do people lie? Do people lie about that? Hello? You didn't ask what my best experience with the tech bro was when we were chatting on Tinder and realized that we were both watching Jeopardy and then talked about Jeopardy all night. It didn't work out after a couple dates, but it was at least respectful and fun. That is fun. Jeopardy, bringing the people together. Stop. This is crazy. You guys, I had a tech bro plan a date at a very expensive cocktail bar, asked to split the check, and then got his half comped because he knew the owner. That's crazy. Oh my God. Dude, if you knew the owner, you get the whole thing comped. That's wild. That's insane. That is like laughably awful. Okay, the female tech bro. What is comped? Like he didn't pay at all or she only paid hers? So he made her pay. Like she basically was like, he was basically like, oh, let's split the bill. And then he told the server that he knew the owner. And then so he didn't have to pay anything and she had to pay half the bill. He left her half because of spite. That's crazy. Yeah. No, if you know the owner, you pay your tab like a decent human being, get your discounts from strangers. Yeah, I'd imagine, I think usually when someone is like, oh, I knew the owner, so I got something comped, it's like the owner showed up and was like, oh, let me pay for your drinks. I don't know that anyone, I mean, I'm sure, I guess some people probably do, but it would be so cringe to like walk into a restaurant and be like, yeah, I know the owner, so where's my discount? You know, if anything, yeah, you want to like support your friends that are in business by supporting their business. That's crazy. I would be embarrassed to do that. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, do you know who I am? Yeah, no. Or just ask if they're there. I think that is way, way more normal to just say hi to them while they're there. Okay. I went out with a female tech bro who is admittedly very pretty. Met for drinks in Bellevue. She spent a solid 45 minutes talking about how lucky I was to be out on a date with her. I know some beautiful, beautiful women. Like, straight up, I think like so many of the girls that I grew up with literally are like models and stuff now. Like, so many beautiful women. I've never heard any of them just talk about themselves and how pretty they are and how lucky someone is to be with them for like ever. Maybe as a joke. What is this? What is this? Who does this? This is so weird. Like, huh? How lucky I was to be out on a date with her and seen in public with her? Nah, that's just embarrassing. What are you, like, maybe she was really that pretty? No, that's not how that works. This is weird. It doesn't matter how, like conventionally attractive you are. This is super weird. No one's that pretty. Yeah. No one's that pretty. Also, that makes her really ugly to do this. She's trying to make him insecure or something. She's trying to make him feel like insecure so that he will overcompensate to make up for it in some way. It's weird. Okay, by that point, I had drank enough that the words were just kind of slithered in and out of my ears. I guess the conversation went on for another 2 hours. Okay, so she was just like talking at you this whole time. That's crazy. I guess the conversation went on for another 2 hours. Who knows how much more of that there was. She lived close by, so we walked back. Okay, sorry guys, that was too much. Yet he slept with her. Yeah, wait. Hold on. I'll read the details. Okay. So they slept together and he said it was that she was acting very narcissistic. And she was saying things like, I'm the best at X, Y, and Z. In reality, she didn't seem either good or even familiar with what she was trying to do. I didn't have the heart to tell her I wasn't into it at all. And as I was leaving, she told me to take her trash. Wait, what? As I was leaving, she told me to take her trash bag of cat litter out to the bin. Not asked, mind you, told. Yeah. You know what? I think in hindsight, I've met some people like this. Her spending all of that time basically being like, oh, you're so lucky to be out with me. You're so like, you're being seen with me. All of that is like setting the stage for like, I'm going to make a bunch of demands from you. I want you to feel insecure so that you will go above and beyond to try and like placate me. Like I'm putting you down to start so that you feel you have to compensate. I mean, managers will do this too. Literally like companies and managers will do this too. It's like, I think it's a very common kind of tactic that people will do is just to like try and make you feel insecure so that you'll try to feel like you have to overcompensate. Yeah, that's wild. All right, you guys, I think that's all I got in the tank today. I will see what I can get done. I would love to do some more shell work maybe tomorrow. I got to double check though. I'll see how much time I have to work on it because ideally I would love to work on a new feature when we're doing our shell dev stuff tomorrow, but I haven't touched it since the last stream, to be honest, because I've had so many other things I have to do. But hopefully we do that tomorrow. I don't know. I'm experimenting with what could be fun on stream. I don't know. Did you guys like this? Or was it kind of, I feel like I need to maybe like, especially with the Reddit stuff, I feel like you kind of got to like scout it out more. I feel like the first while of the stream where I was like reacting to more tech focused stuff that was going on was good. But I don't know about the Reddit stuff. Was it fun? Do you guys like that? Did you have like a favorite, for those who are here for a lot of the time, did you have like a favorite segment or a favorite like format that you liked? I would honestly be interested in the data on this, like if this commenting stuff actually does numbers. What do you mean commenting stuff? Like me reacting to the Reddit stuff? It felt like a radio show format with the itinerary, and I enjoyed that. Grab a lot of the links to look at later. I can post the links in the Discord. Both were balancing the hard topic and the light stuff. Okay. Good. All right, you guys, don't forget that there is, in fact, a Discord. If you want to join, I'll post the links to what we looked at today in the Discord. It might take me a day. So if I didn't do it by tomorrow's stream, then remind me. And I'll do it on stream so I can't forget. New segment is good because it stays on topic while it's just chatting. It's easy to lose the plot. Yeah. By the way, that Cabela hat's fire. Cabela, yeah, they got sick merch. They got very cool stuff. Crab channel on Discord is dead. I blame everyone. I feel like when there's too many channels, they just die. But then people want channels for things. So I'm in a crossroads. Like the recommendations on Mastodon, it feels like it feels that it's hard to reach interesting people without the algo. Okay, maybe I'll do more Mastodon. Here, let me write that down. Of like cool, like takes, different like reacting to Mastodon takes kind of vibe, so that we can get a little bit more, we get more eyes on it. And it gives you people that you might find interesting to follow. About those model friends of yours, are they available? I think they all snatched up. They got snatched up quick. Because they're very, very lovely, very kind. All right. Who is live? Thanks for hanging out, you guys. That was very fun. The advert rant was chef's kiss. Yeah, did you like my me being very transparent with you guys about all the things, what it's been like to work on my own. I have actually a dedicated video that I'm gonna post. I haven't decided yet if I might just make it members only or if I'll make it like a general video. Because the only thing is like members only is kind of nice for like, oh, I want to reach like the core audience, not necessarily like a broader audience. You know what I mean? But I wish that there was some, I mean, I guess, I don't know if Patreon like supports Twitch subs or anything like that. It'd be cool to like sync it where if you're a member or a Twitch sub or something that you get perks. I should look into that actually. Hold on. Cause yeah. Hold on. Alrighty. Who do we want to raid? C++, Raylib, and Jolt Physics. This seems cool. Australian? It's unfortunate. Guys, I can only say that because my best friend's Australian, okay? I'm allowed. And and Aussies have a good sense of humor. All right, I bully Rustaceans and Australians. I don't think so, though. You might be able to set something custom through their API. True. Yeah, maybe there's something. I wonder. You know what? I'll ask around. Aussies won't get offended for such a thing. Yes, true. True. All right, we're going to raid Hypnotic Games. Your best friend is Australian. We'll tell you about it. I love G. What was your major in uni? CS. I didn't finish it, though. It's a long story, kind of. Long-ish. The tech stuff was great. Reddit, not so much. Yeah, okay. That's kind of how it felt. But I was like, I don't know if it's just because I'm tired that I'm feeling that or that it's a little bit I feel like the Reddit stuff is fun. I think the Reddit can fit better in videos, like when I add it kind of in post, or like, I don't know. You'll see in some of my upcoming videos, I've included some like Reddit segments, but they're a lot more like tech focused and all this stuff. And I think it's interesting. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Peace out. Bye, bye, bye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, YouTube. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.